Leave it in the lane. Tried to force it inside. Stolen away by Boswell. Lead pass ahead to Larson on the run. Pella lays it up and good.
That was a double bounce pass from 70 feet. Kylan Boswell connects with Pella Larson. Timeout, Buffaloes.
Johnson tips the rebound out to Larson. There go the Wildcats on the run. Pella in a hurry. Coast to coast inside. Bounce pass low. Reverse lay-in is good.
Drive it hard to the basket when the defense converges. Lay it off to Caleb Love.
Dribble drive right. Bradley into the lane. Stops there. Kick it back to Love. Caleb squares up. Deep three is up and good. Caleb Love with Alexis of Tucson. Charity three. Feed it high. Borovichinen off to Lewis. High post, Krivas. One bounce to Borovichinen. Works it into the paint. Little runner is up and good. Borovichinen with his first field goal. He's got 4 points, 82-42 Arizona. One bounce up to Boswell. Shovel it right for Lewis. Lewis fakes right, drives left into the lane. Underneath, Pella Larson will lay it in reverse side.
What a no-look dime from KJ Lewis on the back cut.
Conrad stepped back, shot for two, high off the rim, no good. Krivas the offensive rebound, bank it in, flat-footed, and he's fouled. For Morauskas for three, that one off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound tip to Will Mena, who lays it in. Hometown man gets two.
Well, I didn't expect that.
No. Neither did we, Tommy Lloyd. Neither did we. A thorough beatdown on Thursday night of the Colorado Buffaloes in the Wildcats' return to McHale Center after almost a full month away and 5 road games at neutral sites mostly, but Arizona got the home cooking that they wanted in knocking out the Colorado Buffaloes 97-50, and the completion of the weekend tonight, a 6 o'clock tip against the Utah Utes, is forthcoming. Welcome to the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. I'm David Kelly, joined as always by my guys. We've got Kelvin Ifan here, the captain, 1998. We've got J.W. Madden over there running the controls. We've got a lot in store for you in this show today. We've, in fact, got some breaking football news that we can talk about today as well. We'll get to that as coming up, Arizona and the Utah Utes. In fact, let's tell you a little bit about what we've got coming up today for you.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, we'll take a quick look back at that Colorado game, 97-50, a 47-point win. A couple of early chats today. Darren Sutton will call the game on the Pac-12 Network. He'll join us in this hour, as will Joan Bonvincini, longtime women's basketball coach at the University of Arizona. We will chat about the ladies who came oh so close last night to upsetting the number 5 team in the country, the Colorado Buffaloes, but lost 75-74. We'll get Joan's thoughts on that. Take our first look at today's men's game against the Utah Utes. Your spotlight on a cat is going to be Motias Krivas, who had a bunch of rebounds, 9 to go along with 15 points in the win over the Colorado Buffaloes. All that coming up for you in the first portion of our show today. Tommy Lloyd, how about your team getting out to such a quick early lead against the Colorado Buffaloes?
It's great when you do it, but I also think you got to be comfortable not doing it. And these high-level basketball games are not going to be 30-point margins at half. We got to get really comfortable playing in close ball games. If it's 22-20 at that third media timeout, we got to feel good. And that's something we're working on.
We talked a lot about the Wildcats and their perimeter defense after the Stanford Cardinal knocked down 16 3-point shots against the Wildcats in that win for the Cardinal in Palo Alto. Tommy, were you more impressed with the way the team defended against the Buffaloes?
Yeah, I mean, we're a good defensive team. You got to trust that, and you're going to have tough nights like we did, and hey, and look at some of the shots we made tonight, banking in threes and things like that. That happens, So we were on the other side of that a few days ago, and luckily today we flipped it.
Kelvin, after checking out the tape, any new thoughts about what you saw in that the ease of that win by the Wildcats on Thursday night?
Well, honestly, I didn't really get to see a lot. The guys jumped on them, really took away everything they had. Them missing two of their guys really made this kind of a non-factor game, even though it still counts. But I didn't really get to see a lot. I was very happy with the defense, the aggressiveness of the defense. Guys seem to be real hungry to prove a point. I felt like they really got out on the shots on the 3-point line, and just had a total overall, for as the whole team is concerned, just a good game.
A lot of contesting shots at the rim as well. Guys driving by, but making sure that that you were taking that guy all the way to the basket and making sure that it was not an easy layup if that was what it's going to be.
Exactly. I mean, and when you have a great scorer like KJ Simpson, a guy that can score at all three levels, and especially he scores in the mid-range, to take him away and make him have a tough day like that, that discourages some of these other teams that think they could just come in and run you out your gym. So I just think that overall, again, just a good defensive day, and you just got to bag it up with the win today against Utah.
Tommy Lloyd asked if he felt like the defense that this team can play at times can drive the Wildcats' offense.
I always want to play complementary basketball. I mean, I think your defense has to, complement your offense, and your offense has to complement your defense. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, anytime you're playing really good defense, it can help drive your offense. There's no doubt about that. So, if you're playing with great force on the defensive end, rebounding and getting in transition, that's usually a good formula.
Kylan Boswell finished the game with 14 points, came right out of the gate, and hit 4 3-pointers in that first half, 4 of 7 from behind the arc, as the Wildcats ended the night with 11 3-point shots made on 20 attempts. Tommy felt good about seeing Kylan come out and play well in that game.
You guys, Kylan's 18. Give him some grace. Give him some space. Give him some time. Let him develop. I mean, that's what we're doing. And he played really well today. And hopefully he can continue to build on it. But by no means is he a finished product.
What you guys think of that comment right there? That was one of the things that I'd mentioned a few weeks ago. I mean, this is just a kid that's 18 years old. He's been thrusted into the most important position on this program, or at least the way that this fan base looks at it, because of the history of the young men that have played the point guard position at the University of Arizona. I mean, when you think about when we've talked about a lot of the guys that have played this role, not all of them have come in and maybe played it at maybe as sophomores, but maybe not at the age that Kylan Boswell has been given the keys to this offense. I mean, you think about a TJ McConnell who came in here. He played a couple years in Division I, another school, sat out a year here and got comfortable. That wasn't necessarily afforded to Kylan Boswell.
I think it's really simple that consistency comes with experience. And so when you're talking about guys who are in their 8th year in the NBA, and you don't marvel at them putting up 30 points, because that's just what they do. You can marvel at an 18-year-old last year, 17-year-old on campus doing crazy things with basketball and say, hey, man, this guy is so good for his age. But, guys, that quickly turns into the expectation that he should be a world beater every night out. There's no excuse. He's only 18. I don't hear that as what the coach is saying. I hear that saying you should have a lot of respect for what Kylan's doing now at his age. And if he has a few bad games in a row, to me, Kelvin, it's just effort and energy. So if you're not bringing effort and energy, fan bases can complain about that because you're not there to do what you came here to Arizona to do. If you're talking about missing shots, I mean, maybe a turnover or two, like those happen within the scope of a game of basketball. I don't think it's fair to place the keys to the Arizona basketball program at the feet of an 18-year-old. And you can also marvel when he does something crazy like throw a 70-foot double bounce pass with English on it, Kelvin.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that I heard from Coach was, give him a chance because we have confidence in him, and I think that's what he was doing. You're breathing confidence into your young player, and when I saw him get out there and started, shooting those threes, man, I thought, oh man, he's jumping right back on the horse, and I was excited for him, and I said, man, for him to be doing that the confidence of the coach has to really be there. So I was just happy for him, and I was happy, looking at the team, thinking that like, hey. this is a coach who really believes in his guys. I mean, same with Caleb Love, the same love that I see for Larson and Ballo. You're going to have ups and downs during the season, and if you have to show the players, whether it's 1 through 12, that you have their back. So it's good to see Coach keep putting them in that position to be successful.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I'm David Kelly along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. We want to hear from you today. It is the number 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I mentioned we've got a couple of interviews coming up shortly with Darren Sutton, who will call this game today on the Pac-12 Network, and Joan Bonvincini. We'll talk some women's basketball with her. So I want to dive into the big news of the day outside of this men's basketball program, and that is the reported departure of Arizona Wildcats defensive coordinator Johnny Nansen to the Texas Longhorns to reunite with one of his compadres, Steve Sarkisian, who's the head coach there. Sarkisian and Nansen spent a lot of time together in Los Angeles with the USC Trojans. They were also on the same staff together at the University of Washington when Sarkisian was the head coach at both places. A lot of people thought that this might eventually, if there was ever an opening on Sarkisian's staff, could be a place where Johnny Nansen might find himself, and it appears that is going to be the case. He is headed back to be with Sarkisian running the defense of a team that's going to play for the national championship on Monday night. Your thoughts on that, Captain?
Yeah, I mean, and I heard he wouldn't be calling the plays, you know. But at the same time, man, I'm one of those guys, man. That's what it's about, elevating. If you come in and you do a great job, opportunities come up. If you can't match the dollars that this man is being offered, well, what can you do? You have to, open a door and say, hey, man, I appreciate everything you did for us. And you just, be like, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. But I just would like that same energy for the kids, man, when they leave or when they make their different decisions to leave a different school. That's where I come in on it. Grown men making their decisions on jobs or whatever, they could be fired just as fast. So, of course, he has to do what he has to do. But at the same time, I think I know I would. You can hear people say, "Oh, but the kids are students." They are, they are students. But I just feel like that the movement. If the coaches are able to move like that, the players should be able to as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting from the standpoint, obviously, that now you've got an opening on that defensive side of the ball. What do you do with that? One of the things that we talked about at the end of the season, it was, could you figure out a way to keep Dwayne Aquina, because he was such a huge instrumental part in the defensive level, the way that this defense raised its level this season. Now you've got an opening. Is that the guy you elevate potentially? Do you elevate a Dwayne Aquina? Is he the kind of guy that you want as your defensive coordinator, or does the opening now just allow you to slide him in as a permanent? Because obviously Ricky Huntley is going to return. Now you can slide him into another position. He can still be on that defensive staff, coaching DBs or coaching whatever. You do some sliding around and you bring in another guy to be your defensive coordinator. Either way, I think you got to find a way to keep Dwayne Aquina here.
You for sure, with the success of the team, and you would hate to see both of those guys go.
Oh, yeah.
So you do whatever you have to do to try to keep Coach Aquina. I think Coach Aquina is comfortable in Tucson, so that helps out a lot there. I would look for another defensive coordinator because I saw how well Coach worked with Nansen. So what would be the problem to go get another guy to work with him? Because I thought those two-headed monster was good for the team. I think a lot of times you have that of the head coach, offensive coordinator, type work. I think who is the offensive line coach?
Carroll.
Yeah. How they work together. You can't always need somebody to rub stuff up against that you respect or whatever. So I wouldn't mind. And Coach Aquina is at a point in his career.
Exactly.
He's a veteran, man. He didn't feel the need to be the defensive coordinator now. So I just think getting another younger guy that can help with recruiting. Because that's not to say Coach Aquina can't go to the island. He has a long track record of recruiting, but he is up in age. So you wouldn't mind having a younger guy that could do some of that traveling for him.
Yeah. Have a lot of respect for Johnny Nansen and just the things he came in here. I remember sitting with him in the airport shortly after he got hired when I was coming back from the Super Bowl out in Los Angeles a few years ago. Him and Ricky Hundley were on the same flight as me, headed back to Tucson. And just, his whole mentality was, we're just going to come in here. We're going to keep it simple. We're not going to complicate it for these kids. We're going to just make it as easy for them to be where they need to be. And it was just like and I liked the mentality that he was bringing. It's like, so many people try to come in here and scheme it up, scheme it up too much. He's like, we're going to game plan, but we're going to try to keep it on a level where they understand and they don't have to think in order to play football. And it worked out extremely well in the 2 seasons that he was here. All right, it is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. We've got a whole lot in store for you. We're going to start concentrating on Arizona and Utah. It's a 6 o'clock tip tonight at McHale Center. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the man who will call this game on the Pac-12 Network tonight, Darren Sutton, driving down the I-10 to let you know what the Wildcats can do tonight and if they can complete the sweep. I'm David Kelly, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and #1 goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog & Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot.
Frog & Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog & Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog & Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
This summer, savings is the ultimate drive.
The road has been long, and now you're here. One incredible family.
You've saved so many families so much. I want that opportunity.
Savings and Selection 100, now playing at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Go to O'Reilly.com, call 747-8000, or test drive one on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the Sonoran Desert's natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rock & Kay. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by nature, built for you. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. And this month, pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yep, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. It's time now to take you down the front row of the arena. A view from courtside is brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona.
All right, let's talk to the man who's going to call this game today on the Pac-12 Network. Darren Sutton joins us. He has joined us on the show before. He is at a shoot-around, I imagine. Which team is on the floor right now at McHale Center, Mr. Sutton?
The Cats just wrapped up their workout. Coach is doing his radio interview across the court right now, and I literally am courtside in some fancy seats.
Hey, any Adam Sandler sightings today?
No, I was really jealous too. Like, why do the big guys, the big network announcers, why do they get the legendary actors and comedians? And I love Matt Muehlbach, but he's no Adam Sandler. I mean, I don't know why I got the Rook today. No stars today.
So, I mean, I think we mentioned once before. I think when we talked to you the last time, you were at the shoot-around, kind of getting a look at the team. What are some of the things, again, that you saw? Like, what did you see today when you were watching, just that kind of jumped out at you about the way that the Wildcats are preparing for this game?
Well, I'm gonna go two things that are, one of them is quite elementary. I love the way the shoot-arounds are structured by Tommy, and I don't know if this was by design today. It's almost like you have students in a classroom that are studying for a session, and then they get to go out and have recess to remind them the game is fun. So it was intense preparation, especially for the size, especially for Brendan Carlson and Lovering behind him. So obviously the taxi squad, if you will, that prepped and wore the Utah jerseys, very intense in their preparation. But then they take a break, and the music would be turned up, and they just shoot loose. Then they get back into defensing inbound plays, under basket inbound plays, and then again they'd break it up. Music would be turned up, and they'd start shooting around again. Guards, big fellas would break up. Half court shots ended it. So it was a wonderful mix of intense studying and then a break to kind of remind you that, hey, this game's fun.
Yeah, it's interesting from that standpoint how kind of shoot-arounds work and different coaches and how they kind of plan for that. This could be an interesting game. I mean, we've had some games recently where we've had some dynamic big men matchups, and we've talked about this on our show before, and Umar Ballo and some of the guys he's had to face over the last month. But this is a game where I think we have multiple, for the first time, big man matchups. I mean, obviously we know we've got Umar Ballo and Mo Krivas, who are both playing at a high level right now. But usually there's only one big man on the other side. Today we get two with Carlson and then Lovering. But what do you see out of that those two Utah big men that could pose a problem for Arizona today?
Yeah, I think even though he's younger in his experience, Mo wins that battle if you're going to go with the second level big man. Obviously, Lovering, they watched the film closely. They figured him out at ASU. He didn't really have an impact In many ways, a forgettable game for a couple of players, certainly, but not Carlson. He played really well. And I think for Carlson, I think in talking with Coach Tommy Lloyd and then talking with Matt Muehlbach, I think the consensus is over the years, this older man now, as he becomes a man, is also not just using his size and presence to help out defensively, to play the game away from the basket, but now the strength that he has acquired is being used. So you will truly have a fun strength-on-strength matchup, where Ballo is going to get muscled. He's going to get pushed. It's going to be physical, and it's going to be fun. I mean, we know how Omar doesn't shy away from that at all, and he's going to get every ounce of Carlson, who's, kind of evolved a lot more in his physicality.
Did you call that game the other night in Tempe, Darren?
I did not.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, I did not get to call that one the other night.
What, in terms of, I mean, I'm sure you watched the tape of it. What did you like, I guess, about it? What are some of the things you saw? Obviously, Arizona State hit a bunch of threes, which has kind of been what they've been doing as of late to jump out to that 3-0 start in the conference so far this season. But what are some of the other things you saw that allowed them to kind of take control of that game in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, just from what I saw, and I did most of the reading just like you, you hit the nail on the head. It was, it's a team that, I have called a handful of their games, Bobby's games on TV this year, and they have not even come close to locking into their identity as early as this team has with multiple new players. And now we're starting to see their identity. I mean, discombobulation, they embrace it. That's the kind of, Bobby Hurley approach anyway. The energy sports are everything for his teams. I mean, they just are. That's how they want to play it. And I think to be able to, take the second wave of the hype and to shut it down was important for them. But, I think they're finally starting to find their identity and play pretty well, which makes me look ahead, to when these two Arizona in-state teams play again.
We're joined by Darren Sutton. He will call the game today for the Pac-12 Network. It is our view from courtside, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. Darren, we were so happy to see kind of Kylan Boswell get back into his groove in that game in Colorado against Colorado. He had been struggling a little bit from the field, hit his first couple of shots, and what were your thoughts on the pass? We've been still talking about that for the last 48 hours. When you saw that pass, what was the first thing you went through your mind?
Funny, I was at a steakhouse in Dallas at an event and literally was eating dinner with all my friends, meaning eating alone, and I had my phone, watching my game on the phone, leaned up against a mug, and saw it and wondered if I saw what I saw correctly, because it almost had an optical illusion of like a bowler spinning, from gutter to gutter, and the way that it connected. It didn't actually curve that much. It was incredible. We just got done talking to Kylan, which is very, very cool. A lot of times players and coaches don't really enjoy the players interacting, but he came over and talked to us about the pass, and he intended the two bounce. He said he absolutely intended the two bounce, and he knew Pella, as his teammate, these are his words from just a few minutes ago, hustled like it was nobody's business and would pick up his teammate if in fact it was an errant pass. But he took a chance. He knew exactly what he was doing, and to listen to him describe what he saw all at once. In other words, he saw one of the defenders, his name escapes me, who was involved and somewhere in between on that pass. He literally realized, okay, he wasn't looking. I know I can take a chance because the defender that would be most key wasn't looking. And we came up with a name. Obviously, I can't claim this name, but the Queen's Gambit, if you're a chess player,
wow.
The Queen's Gambit, where you have to look ahead multiple moves for a play like that. And it turns out that that's one of Kylan's favorite shows to stream. So I think we're going to go with that one. There was Kylan's curveball. There was a couple of other names that were bantied about, Boswell's bowling. But I think we're going to go with the Queen's Gambit. And we have some fun graphics and some fun reenactments, if you will, to digitally enhance as we look back tonight at that one.
The Queen's Gambit. So this is a TV show?
Well, the Queen's Gambit is the Queen's Gambit obviously describes chess, where you're looking ahead on a major move, a couple of heads. And then there is a show which I've never seen. I have not seen. I don't watch much or stream much unless it's sports related or Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I haven't seen it, but there is a show. It is called The Queen's Gambit, and turns out Kylan watches it all the time.
Wow. And it's interesting. You also brought the bowling analogy into it because that was one of the things we said. It looked like Kylan might have done some bowling before because they kind of put that bowling spin on it Thursday night.
Yes. No, you're the bowling. That's exactly what I thought. But I'll give Matt credit. He came up with the chess comparison because of how many moves ahead you had to be and anticipate, and everything had to come together. So I'll give my guy Mulebach some credit with that name, and it was blessed, by the way, by Kylan. So that's what we're going to go with.
And you mentioned Matt Mulebach. You'll be working the game with him today on the call of the Wildcats and the Utah Utes. What's most enjoyable for you about working with Matt?
Well, it's his program, obviously. I mean, I do ASU games with Matt. We've traveled and done games, elsewhere, even, within the Mountain West Conference together, too. The way he, has embraced his growth as an analyst has been so much fun. I guess it's been 6 or 7 years that we've been lucky enough to get assigned games to one another. And, he's such a professional that, his loyalties in his heart lie here in this building. But when he calls the game, you'd never know that. And I think that's all. I think we just dismiss that and just go, oh, of course. That's not that easy to do. And I love his sense of humor. I love the way that it's a very, very dry wit. And we just have a trust. I mean, it's funny. There's a lot of good analysts in this conference in all sports. And I'm going to miss working with them at different layers depending on what happens in the future. But I think the trust that we have, the relationship, that's probably my favorite part of it.
We're joined by Pac-12 Network announcer Darren Sutton for our view from courtside today, brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser celebrating 25 years of serving Arizona. And Darren, what do you think the Utah Utes are going to have to do to win this game today?
I think they're going to have to step outside a little bit of what they do a lot. Neither one of these teams shoot the three a ton. They both are inside-out teams, but I do think advantage Arizona as it goes to in the paint work. So I think Utah may have to step out a little bit of what they do usually and shoot the three. I mean, they're outside of the top 200 in three-point attempts, and obviously Arizona's even deeper. They're almost at 250 in the rankings. They make them. Both these teams make about 38%, but I think for Utah, for them to win the game, it's going to be outside shooting. Madsen is a guy, with that unique kick out. He'll draw fouls on certain occasions. I think he shot about 100 threes this year. So you see Madsen going to the line a couple of times, and especially, if he does get fouled with those kickouts when he swings around and it draws fouls and obviously drops in his threes. I think if you see an out-of-character amount of three-pointers by Utah, though they won't seek them, they're going to have to lean on them at some point. I think they start hitting their threes. That's what Utah has to do to win this game.
And Darren, I want to flip it back over. You were mentioning, obviously, that you call a lot of the Arizona State Sun Devil games. We were talking about them a little bit earlier in the conversation. We've been hearing a lot about the emergence of Frankie Collins. What is we keep an eye on the Sun Devils down the road? What do we need to know about this Frankie Collins and what he can do for the Sun Devils?
Well, for me, having not seen them in a bit, I have only witnessed the emergence before like you. I mean, obviously understanding what an important piece he was going to be and had to be. And I don't have them again this year, so I'll watch his evolution like the rest of you guys. But, every game, once I would get inside the building, chat with Bobby, understand what they needed. It's been fun to see him evolve. He's been a big part of, all the positivity. So I'll watch his evolution with you guys.
Outstanding. Hey, Darren, as always, have a great call today. We appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us.
All right. Peace, guys. Thanks so much for a few minutes of your time as well.
That is your view from courtside with Pac-12 Network announcer Darren Sutton. (520-848-1290). 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We've got Arizona men's basketball coming your way here at 6 o'clock. It's the Wildcats and the Utah Utes. Interesting conversation there with our guy, Darren Sutton. And I'll bring back in Kelvin Ifan here. And Kelvin, just in terms of this battle between the big men that we're going to see today. And, this is the first time I think we've seen potentially where we'll have 4 big men, 4 7-footers on the floor. And like even Darren was saying, if it gets to the second level, he felt like Mo Krivas has a little bit of an advantage over Lovering in that respect for Utah. How do you think the matchup on the first level, though, between Umar Ballo and Brandon Carlson is going to evolve?
Well, they got a little bit of history there. They played last year, and Carlson came in, man, and was knocking down threes all over the place. To me, that was my first time really seeing him as a three-point shooter. After that, it seems like he just really kept shooting them throughout the year. So now we're bringing in an experienced guy that's used to shooting from the perimeter. So the drop coverage isn't probably going to be in effect today. Probably going to be up a little bit more, ready to switch that. Because a lot of time when you have the big man that can shoot the 3-ball, you can switch a guard on him out there a lot of times because, again, he's only shooting a jump shot, so you only want to check the shot. If he drives right back. If he penetrates right back into his big man that switched on wherever the other guy went. So I just believe that you just have to stay up. I think he's going to shoot a lot of threes. I think he shot like 10 or 12 last year in the game. I think you could look for Carlson to do a little bit more of that. But to me, Ballo has to punish him on the offensive end. A lot of times your offense is your best defense when you're dealing with some of these guys. And I think getting them in foul trouble, getting them on the sideline, playing against the younger big fella Lovering would be just an easier game.
All right, that is going to wrap up this particular segment. We're going to take a break here. We'll come back, and we're going to chat with Joan Bonvincini, the longtime women's basketball coach at the University of Arizona. We'll get her thoughts on the women's game last night, a 75-74 loss by the Wildcats to the number 5 Colorado Buffaloes. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show, along with Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
We hope you enjoyed your view from courtside. It was brought to you by Kaiser Garage Door and Gates. Kaiser, celebrating 25 years serving Southern Arizona. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or RoyalKia.com.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and Southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results Team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results Team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results Team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results Team. When buying and selling really matter, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
Caruso's, a Tucson tradition since 1938, located on historic 4th Avenue. For 4 generations, Caruso's handmade sauce has been prepared with love by a family member, using only the best ingredients. Enjoy specialty Italian dishes like lasagna al forno, chicken tetrazzini, real Italian sausages, spectacular pizza, as well as many vegetarian options. Caruso's offers outdoor dining on their garden patio, with indoor dining also available. Open Tuesday through Sunday, with all your favorites available for takeout. For more information, call 520-624-5765 or visit their website at carusositalian.com.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown and Tipoff Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
19 seconds left. Ball is inbounded to Martinez and deflected by Sherrod, but she's able to get it right back to Puello. 14 seconds left, the zone being extended. Back inside to Martinez and then quickly out to Gilbert. 8 seconds to go. Here's a screen, gets her inside, put it up over Vonleh, it's short. And a tie-up will be Arizona basketball, but just 2.5 seconds left. Puello has it in her hands, taking a look at Cunningham, puts it up, and she's fouled. There's no whistle. And it won't fall, and the Wildcats will come up a point short.
I think just letting us be confident. She told us a lot. We're going to run with 7, but we got to be some dogs. That's the only way we're going to hang in there. So I think she helped us be confident in going out there. Don't be scared of nobody. Of course, we're going to be nervous for her playing top 5 team, but we know we can hang in there. We had nothing to lose. We left our heart out there. So I think this whole week we don't have a lot of numbers, so we can't practice as much as everybody else. So we're locking in mentally, and I think we were prepared going into this game. We play a lot of freshmen, so I think everyone was going out there confident and knowing that we could win the game.
All right, that's Jada Williams talking there after the Wildcat women's basketball team fell last night in a heartbreaker, 75-74 at McHale Center, a game against the number 5 Colorado Buffaloes in which they had led by as many as 8 points early in the fourth quarter. Let's chat with the lady who was the analyst on TV for last night's game. She was the longtime head coach here at the University of Arizona on the women's side, Joan Bonvincini. Joan, how are you this Saturday afternoon?
I am fabulous. Hope you're doing well, too.
Doing well. So we heard that end of the game call there by Derek Palmer, so I will start there. Did you think that was a foul on the last play of the game?
You know, the angle that we had, and I didn't have a replay on that, I did not see a foul. I did talk to Brea Cunningham this morning. I mean, I was at practice, but I don't think there was a foul. I don't think that was it. But it was a good shot, and they just came up a point short. It was a great game to call, and it was a great game to watch. And unfortunate, Arizona lost by 1 point.
Yeah, you can't argue with the two looks that they got there at the end of the game. I thought Kaylin made a really nice play to get herself into the lane, just came up a bit short on that first attempt. And then I thought Adia drew up a great play there. I mean, to get that open of a shot right off the edge of the key was a pretty good opportunity to have a chance to win the game. The balls just didn't fall, but I thought those were two really good looks. Would you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. You know, honestly, if you go back and look at when Gilbert penetrated, the tough thing is on the left side, and this would happen, she's so focused on scoring, she didn't see Pueo wide open on the left wing for the three, and Pueo had just made a three about a minute earlier. But, you know, it's a lot different when you're on the sideline watching is when you're there in the heat of the moment making the decision. But I think Arizona will, that was by far their best game and complete game start to finish for the season. And I think this will help them confidence-wise, even in the loss. I mean, every game in the Pac-12 on the women's side, you know, top to bottom, I think this is by far the deepest and best overall Pac-12 season. You we'll see, unfortunately, last season, but every game is tough.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, and obviously you coached, you know, we'll come back to the game and what's happening tomorrow. But when you coached in this conference for such a long time, you've been a broadcaster with the Pac-12 network on the women's side ever since the network started. Just what are your thoughts on the demise of the conference and what has happened?
Well, it's just sad. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So decisions made, it's a money decision. I understand that. But the quality of universities, the type of players that have been in this conference, I mean, some of the best players. And, you know, I think there's just a lot of respect for the coaches, for the players, of what it means to be a member of this conference. So I think I speak for everyone. You want this to be the best and appreciate every moment you have as a player, as a coach. And, you know, as a broadcaster, I'm going to go do it by the very best I can and do my homework. But I think we need to relish in what's been and remember the great moments that have been here historically.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Joan Bonvincini is joining us. She's an analyst for the Pac-12 Network, former women's basketball coach here at the University of Arizona. Joan, have you ever, in your years, whether it was coaching at Arizona or up in Seattle, dealt with a roster situation like Adia Barnes is dealing with this year with the limited number of players available that she's had for a number of games?
Yeah, unfortunately I have, and it's not fun. It's not fun, and part of it, I mean, honestly, Adia started with 12 or 13 players, and she made a conscious decision to do that so she could play her freshmen. You know, she had opportunities to get a couple other kids in the transfer portal, but that would mean that the freshmen wouldn't get as many minutes, and she signed a couple 5-stars and didn't want to have them lose minutes to these kids. So, you know, 12 or 13 sounds pretty good. And unfortunately, she's had injuries. And then, you know, Maya Naji was something that you didn't expect. And that happened, you know, and you got to respect that for being a great student. But injuries happen. And I've had to deal with this, and it's not fun. I think Adia's attitude and the players' attitude is amazing. So they will play with 7 again tomorrow. Isis Bay is still in concussion protocol and won't be available hopefully till next week. She'll play. Sally Kamara is out with a shoulder injury, and it's, you know, questionable if she'll be able to play again, because when you have a dislocation in your shoulder, I mean, that's a hard thing to deal with. So, you know, it's just some bad luck things. But I'll tell you, those kids played their hearts out yesterday. And, you just want to play your heart out, trust your teammate. But there's a lot of positives from this stuff. The good part as a player, you're not coming out unless you're tired or in foul trouble. So, I mean, as a player, you just like the freshmen played great yesterday. And they're growing up not by the game, but by the minute. And so I still think there's a lot of positives. I think you just have to manage, for Adia and the staff, manage your players well, that they don't practice too much. They lose the getting the repetitions in practice. But I still think there's a lot of positives, and I think, they're going to give their best shot every single game.
Well, and I want to ask you a question, Joan, because this was something Adia had said in the preseason. She talked about, in terms of how the roster was made, she talked about how she also wanted to go with a limited number of players because it is sometimes hard to keep the players at the bottom of the roster happy. And I thought that was interesting, just because, I mean, you risk running into what she's run into here, going with that mindset. And I was just curious your thoughts on that whole mindset of players not understanding. If your player 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, she says those players, even though they're at the bottom of the roster, they still expect to play. When do players at that, I mean, again, I guess I don't understand how you would think as a player that, okay, I should expect to play if I'm on the lower end of the roster. I guess I'm not understanding the mindset of that type of player today.
Okay, so, nothing personal, but you don't understand, because when you're coaching, and it's a lot different than when I coach, because when the kids, and it was the same thing, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, they all think they should be playing more. And before, they would go home and, or get on the phone with their parents or whatever. Well, now it's not just getting on the phone with your parents and your travel coach. They're seeing it in social media, and they know they can transfer and go to another school right away. I'm sure if I was when I played, if they had the portal then, I would have lost players. I would have lost players because they want to play, and, I won't say every parent's like that, but most parents think their kids are a lot better than when they are, and they're not patient, I mean, I think there's a huge upside to waiting from your sophomore or junior year. There's a big improvement. Some people don't want to take that time. They want immediate gratification, and the portal has given that. I mean, it shows statistically on every women's basketball roster throughout the country, a third of the players on the roster right now are from the transfer portal. So it is what it is. I mean, and so I think Adia went in with the right mindset. I think she did the right thing. She thought. I think it's just a lot of bad luck, to be honest.
Yeah, this is Kelvin here. How you doing, Coach? I was playing during the time.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I was playing during the time with a deal here. I remember how hard you used to work them because they used to come to the classes. Boy, they used to be in there tired.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I just read an article that one of my players, who was a great player for me, Dee Wheeler, I can tell you, and she played a lot as a freshman. Like, they don't, like, I was hard. Like, and they asked her what she thought of me. Well, her answer today, 20 years later, is different than it was when she played for me. Right. I mean, because I was hard. Yeah. And I know things are different now, but I'm sure I would have had more transfers. And I'm sure if I was coaching today, I'd be able to navigate the portal. I think I would be able to do that. But it's hard. When you're in charge and you're in charge of a lot of people, I think, like, the thing with me, like, I'm pretty straightforward. And I always told the players, your job is to get in my top 8. So Adia today has 7. She'll normally have 8 or 9 on the roster that should play. And that's what I told the players, because really, if you're playing more than 8 or 9. I don't think that's the way to coach. I mean, those other players are to help the other ones get better.
Yeah.
The top 8 get better. And you wait your turn.
That's why
the issue that we're talking about. The kids don't want to wait their turn. They're not all of them.
Well, also, coaches, I think some coaches don't do a good job of explaining, that to you when they're recruiting you.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you're thinking you're going in there getting ready to get some playing time, get right on the. I remember when I was getting recruited here, I thought, I'm finna go in and take Khalid Reed's spot. I'm finna take his spot. I'm gonna be right next to Damon Stoudemire, and I didn't realize who Miles Simon and Michael Dickinson was at all, right? Because maybe I wouldn't have came here if I would have known how good the other guys were. So that's the roll of the dice that you take as a player, and you get there and you got all these magnificent guys around you. And I remember I remember as a player being one of the guys on the end of the bench, I wanted to transfer to a JUCO. I just wanted to play. It didn't matter where. You just wanted to get on the court. Because also I say this, sometimes you may get recruited somewhere where it's a little bigger than where you should be. You got to transfer down a level to a lower level Division I. So it's a little bit of both in there as far as the recruiting goes. Sometimes you just get behind guys that are just good, and you just you don't see a future, and you're like, man, I better go to GCU. I mean, back in my day, now they're up there, on another level. But you better go to NAU or something where you actually can play before your career is over. That's all it really is, David. It's not nothing against the coaches or the other players. It's like most of the time it's respect. You're like, hey, I'm never gonna get on the court. I better find somewhere I can get some tick.
No, I agree 100%. I think you really need a couple things. When you have the players' ears as a coach, and they listen to you, that's great. The hard part is they get mixed messages, whether it's from a parent, it could be from, travel coach or whatever, but you need a tight-knit group. And hopefully, if you're all together on the same page, then everything's good. But I love Adia. I love Adia. She's done a remarkable job here at Arizona, and has taken over a tough program like Jed Fish's done. I mean, it's amazing. And the thing is, once you set the bar, and she's had a great deal of success. I think she's had 5 20-win seasons in a row now.
Yeah.
People want that all the time, and she wants the same too. Believe me. It's just no one likes to lose, and it's tough. And with the portal, you see kids going somewhere else and they're playing more or whatever. I mean, that's hard at times. It is. But this is the way the game is now. And this is just the way it is. And so I think going back to what Adia did, she decided on a smaller roster, just so people know there's 15 scholarships you're allowed to give on the women's side. You're allowed to give 13 on the men's side in college basketball right now. She decided not to do that so she could play kids more, and unfortunately has had an injury bug. The Maya Naji thing is just, she made a decision what's best for her academically, and you got to respect that. But that was something that was not planned. And it is what it is. But I'll tell you, the kids she has, they're connected, and that's the culture she has is excellent. Those kids practice. They want to play hard. They want to improve, and they get along. And so what's different with women than guys? I think women's players can be a little bit catty to each other at times and jealous. Yeah, I think that's different than guys. Guys would, you could say something to a guy and they'll go out and say, I'm going to show you. They don't, they'll just keep playing. Women take it a little bit more personally. But I'll tell you, the kids on Adia's team right now, they're united, and they probably are stronger now because they have a smaller group and they really rely on each other. But they have talent. The freshmen are good. It's just the Pac-12 is tough as heck. And it's really tough.
And I was gonna say that I was like, I have coached AAU girls team, and a lot of times it's hard to get to add new girls to the girls team that already have a group because they already had a little connection, and they don't really want new girls to be a part of it. And how hard is that at the college level? Because I know a lot of that has to happen with the bigger club teams that they have, and the girls coming from the teams together. I know that has to be a challenge.
Well, that's about managing your team, and it's really important on any team, but particularly a women's team, is the culture you have of getting people and players to understand. If a player has self-confidence, then they don't mind at all bringing on new players because you want to win. But I think a lot of it is you've got to put aside your ego and do what's best for the team. And so. But anyway, I think Arizona has nothing to hang their heads on. But yesterday, I thought they gave everything they had. That was by far their best game, top, from start to finish. There's always things they can improve on, particularly they have to be able to rebound the basketball better and box out. That's something they can control. And so that's something they have to improve on. But other than that, when you're shooting over 50% and, they're playing their defense and getting steals and scoring. And, the fans last night were terrific, too.
Great
Diaz made, McHale, one of the best atmospheres in the country. It's awesome.
Real quick, Joan, before we let you go, how do you want to see them defense Alyssa Peely on Sunday?
Well, good luck, man. That kid, no, I'm not kidding. She laid 37 on South Carolina, which was a career high, and South Carolina is considered the best defensive team and coach in the country. Alyssa Peely, the best way to describe her is a matchup nightmare. She's a hybrid. So she's 3-4-5 mixed in. Unusually quick, and what she has done and how she's improved is confidence, and she's validated. Like, she always knew she was good, and her teammates and coaches knew she was good, but nationally now she's improved. So Arizona has to try to double her. Easier said than done when she touches the ball.
Joan, we appreciate you taking some time. Awesome conversation. We'd love to have you back again as the season goes along.
Hey, I'd love to. I hope you have a great day, and we'll hopefully have a great game tomorrow.
Let's hope so. It's a noon tip-off. Joan Bonvincini from the Pac-12 Network, longtime women's basketball coach here at the University of Arizona. Wildcats will take on the number 15 Utah Utes on Sunday at McHale Center. All right, let's get to the break. When we come back, hour number 2 of the show, we'll dive into the men's side. And it's the Wildcats and the Utes tonight, 6 o'clock at McHale Center. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show with Kelvin Efon and JW Madden. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Advanced Auto Care, Crest Insurance Group, Desert Diamond Casinos, First Chiropractic, Frog and Firkin, Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates, Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating and Plumbing, the Polston Results Team with Keller Williams, Southern Arizona, Royal GMC Buick and Cadillac, Royal Kia, Royal Jaguar Land Rover, the Window Depot.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet? Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
With these scratchers, I'll win enough dough to enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally know how to fix your car right.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck on that, guys. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. And this month, pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back.
And check out our full page of promotions and discounts at jackfurriers.com.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care since 1960, here to get you there.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
Desperate buyers have created tremendous opportunity for sellers. If you've had the slightest thought of selling your home, it's time to call Sean Poston with the Poston Results team at Keller Williams, Southern Arizona. Why choose the Poston Results team? Past performance, more money in your pocket, over a 65% referral rate, an incredible Poston Results team staff, and most important, communication, because you and your home matter. The Poston Results team. When buying and selling really mattered, go to TucsonHomeValues.com. That's TucsonHomeValues with an S.com.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
The Meridian Wealth Management postgame show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Leave it in the lane, tried to force it inside, stolen away by Boswell. Lead pass ahead to Larson on the run. Pella lays it up and good.
That was a double bounce pass from 70 feet. Kylan Boswell connects with Pella Larson. Timeout Buffaloes.
Our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game is brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindowdepot.com.
What a pass that was from Kylan Boswell to Pella Larson. But it's only a great pass if Pella Larson picks it up and puts it in the basket, which he did. And after the game, he was asked if that was something that he and Kylan practice, actually.
You and Kylan worked on that pass if he had you in the first. If he had.
Maybe yes, I haven't, but I mean, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't get a turnover. If he throws it, I'll go get it.
There you go. If he throws it, I'll go get it. It's the Arizona Wildcats and the Utah Utes today at McHale Center. This will be the 70th meeting between these two teams. It's an actually pretty even series when you look at these two teams who are old WAC compadres back in the day. Arizona leads 38-32. The Wildcats have won the last 12 games against Utah here in Tucson. They've kind of called this the Utes House of Horrors for the McHale Center because it has been so long since the Utes won a game in Tucson. In fact, the last time they did was my freshman year in college, December of 1986. The Utes beat the Wildcats in Tucson that day by a score of 68-67. They come in with a pretty good big man by the name of Brandon Carlson. He is just one of three players with multiple 20-plus games through the 1st of January this season, and only 10 of those 20 players that have, or 30 players that have done that come from power conferences. So this is a guy that can really score the basketball. And it's interesting, we were talking about him a little bit earlier before we got into the Joan Bonavancini interview, Kelvin, and kind of maybe how this might play with him and Umar Ballo. He is such a guy that can shoot the ball. I'm wondering how much that will fall on Umar today, because he might spend more time out on the perimeter. And like you said, I mean, there may be times when Umar goes out there, but if he's standing outside the three-point line or somewhere in that area, it might be somebody else's call to be guarding Brandon Carlson today.
Yeah, I think from the beginning of the game, it's going to be Keyshawn Johnson, just because of I think Lovren plays a little bit more closer, traditional to the basket. So I think Keyshawn to have that job of guarding Lovren, of guarding Carlson. I think that's one of the reasons why you brought Keyshawn to this program. You needed a versatile forward that could guard inside, outside, and he has that type of athleticism, as I said before, that could guard 1 through 4. So I think Keyshawn to have that matchup actually at the beginning, from the beginning. And again, they take him out. They take Lovering out because he only played like 18 to 20 minutes. They take him out and put Carlson at the center, which I think he has more advantage at the center, because then Ballo would have to guard him in those situations, and that's where the chess match of should you drop Ballo, should you bring Ballo up, that's where you're going to see that.
And that's like what they did last year, right? I mean, because remember, they come off the Maui trip, defeating Cincinnati, San Diego State, and Creighton December 1st last year, Kelvin. We talked a lot about that inverted offense that they ran. Brandon Carlson had 5 3-pointers in that game up there in Salt Lake City that Arizona lost by what was the final score of that game? It was 81-66. So coming off of that incredible trip out to Maui, and that was, Maui Ballo, right? And so they took Ballo, was just dominating under the rim. That's how he did, although that was his field goal percentage in that tournament, like 87%. Yeah, so they brought Carlson away from the basket the whole time, and that's what was a huge key. I think you're completely right, though, Kelvin. I mean, with Keyshawn out there, a lot more mobile. We'll see. We did see him get a little bit of a hyperextended knee or whatever that was when he kind of fell down awkwardly, came back in the game. But, yeah, he's going to be key, obviously, to getting out there and making sure that he doesn't do that same thing he did in Salt Lake last year.
Come on, J-Dub. It's Maui O.
Maui
O.
There you go.
Is the way that we like to refer to that dramatic 3-game stretch in Maui last year. Brandon Carlson, in fact, is the reigning Pac-12 Player of the Week. Last week, averaged 27 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. So this is a big man who can do it all. He had a 30, and we talked about KJ Simpson scoring 34 points against Washington State last week. How about Brandon Carlson scoring 34 points against Washington State last week as well? So he is a big man to contend with for sure. He is currently career-wise 7th in the NCAA in terms of active players in block shots, and tied for 37th in field goals made. So he is at the top or near the top 70 of a number of career statistical things in terms of his time at the University of Utah.
He's an old man, too.
Yeah. How old is he?
99.
No, I don't think he's that old.
Yeah.
But he's...
No, not 99 years. That's the year he was born.
99.
Yeah, he's
99.
a fifth-year senior.
You're talking soccer terms to me.
No. He was born in 99, and he's a fifth-year senior, obviously. But, yeah, he's got all that experience. But he's an old for this level, right? 23, 24, something like that.
Tommy Lloyd likes this team that Craig Smith has put together.
Obviously, last year they really took care of us at Utah when we got back from Maui, and they played great that day. And it was a little bit like, our performance at Stanford. And so you tipped your hat to him, and he had a good team last year. He's kind of got a lot of guys back. He's added a piece or two. They're playing with really big with a couple 7-footers. Carlson is, he's sprinting and hitting threes in movement, and he's hitting right-hand jump hooks. You make a mistake, he dunks it on you. They play him at the 4, and, they have the Lovering kid that was at Colorado last year at the 5, and then, they have another 5-man, Cada off the bench, who's tough. So, no, they present a lot of challenges, and they got a couple knockdown shooters and an experienced point guard, and, I think they're definitely a NCAA tournament team for sure. In my mind, not even close. They're really good.
That could be fun if he mentioned the last big man, Keba Keita, or Keba Keita gets in the ball game. He's also from Mali, and if he gets in against Omar, it'll be Mali versus Mali today.
Have we seen Krivas and Balo on the court together?
I don't think so, no.
Because, that's obviously, Kelvin is completely 100% right. Who are they going to guard? Because that's the situation. However, if Utah's maybe the only team, Kelvin, that Arizona's going to see for the rest of the season that might put 2 7-footers on. And obviously, Brendan Carlson's away from the basket. You want Keyshot on him. But if they somehow find a way and put a couple of big guys, you might actually see Krivas and Balo together. We haven't seen that yet.
That would be interesting. I would not mind.
Because Coach, Coach loves that high-low, right?
He does indeed. He loves his high-low. That is your first look at Arizona, Utah.
That's been our first look at today's Arizona men's basketball game. Brought to you by The Window Depot. Lowest prices and biggest inventory. Shop thewindow.depot.com.
And don't forget, Window Depot also sponsors Arizona's top rebounding performance every night. It's the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game. Might be the Wildcat with the most rebounds. Might be the U of A star with the most impactful boards. We'll tell you the Window Depot glass cleaner of the game coming up tonight on the Meridian Wealth Management post-game show. It is Countdown to Tip-Off, along with J.W. Madden and Kelvin Ifan. I'm David Kelly. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's let you know what we've got coming up in store for the rest of this second hour of our program.
Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
Spotlight on a cat. We'll shine it on Moteus Krivas. Give you your Pac-12 scoreboard. Who's going to be that Utah Ute that gets underneath the Wildcats' skin today, or crawls up underneath his house, or carves a hole in the sink at McHale Center? It's your Pest of the Game, brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. This is the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show, also brought to you by Dave and Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, play, and watch today's game between the Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight at 6 on the Pac-12 Network. We'll take a timeout, come back with more Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I could enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Hit the community trails, explore local parks like Saguaro National and Colossal Cave, and mingle at private Diamond Community Park events. In the top-rated Vail School District, Rock & Kay is close to work, shopping, and services. Tour 11 different model homes by top-tier builders, offering move-in-ready homes and special incentives. Live rockandk.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Broadway in Tucson presents the Rockin' 2023-2024 season featuring 8 blockbuster productions including Disney's Aladdin, The Book of Mormon, Hairspray, and Chicago. Enjoy the Southern Arizona musical premieres of Tina, the Tina Turner Musical, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Time of the Temptations, MJ the Musical, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Secure your choice season tickets today and get the ultimate in flexibility and the lowest prices all season. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your season tickets today.
You know, there are times when you want a new truck, and there are times when you need a new truck. So if either of those times are right now, O'Reilly Chevrolet has the time for you. O'Reilly is kicking off Savings and Selection 100. To celebrate 100 years in business, we have over 100 trucks to choose from. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings and Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Conrad stepped back, shot for 2, high off the rim, no good. Rivas the offensive rebound, bank it in, flat-footed, and he's fouled.
Our pregame show Spotlight on a Cat is brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Moteus Rivas, 7'2" freshman from Lithuania. Having a pretty good run in Pac-12 play, averaging 12 points, shooting 88% from the floor. He is 16 of his last 18 from the field is Moteus Rivas. And had a pretty good ball game against Colorado the other night, scoring 15 points. But as Kelvin said after the game, more importantly, grabbed 9 rebounds, had 4 fouls, and even Tommy Lloyd was liking the fact that his big man was showing a little bit more aggressiveness than he had showed before.
Today was his best game, just of overall toughness, effort, energy at both ends of the floor. I mean, you know, he's got to, when you're a 7-footer in this program, you're a bad man, and you got to play like it, you know. And he's learning that. He's a really nice kid, really soft spoken, and you know, he's got to toughen up a little bit.
Did you see that on the defensive side as well?
Yeah, I mean, he played his best all-around game by far. It helps us. I mean, now you have 40 minutes of really good 5 play, you know, play at the 5, and which is something I think if you find advantages at that position, it's gonna really help your team.
And he played some games, I think, in the high level in Lithuania, or
Yeah, but it's a new culture, new coaching style, new everything. I mean, it's a learning curve, and I mean, you come over here and sometimes you have to prove it to yourself when you're in that environment, and it takes some time to do that. And hopefully he's on that. He's trending in that direction.
Got to toughen up these young kids when they come over here to play in the United States.
Yeah, different. They're a little different. It is physical over there, especially in the higher level leagues. But at the same time, the athleticism in the that you have to go against when you get over to America, and then just being so far away from home, the confidence and stuff. You have to. It takes a little time to adjust to that. But having a guy like Ballo at practice every day, beating on you, at some point you're going to learn to dish it out a little bit.
Yeah, even guys like Keyshawn, right? Because I mean, the biggest difference, I think the strength and the thing about over there is a lot of times you're talking about 16-year-olds playing against 28-year-olds.
Yeah.
So the young guys coming up, they're playing against grown men, and it's grown man strength. But the whole slapping down the ball and the physicality in the post, that's not really a thing. European ball is so much freer and open. And that whole rule about goaltending, right? Like a lot of times those guys are trying to get it off the rim as opposed to slapping down at it. So that physicality with hands and all the guards especially, there's so much more, Kelvin, like guys trying to strip bigs. Don't bring the ball down. Rule number 1, don't bring the ball down where the little guys can get after it. That's the biggest adjustment, I think, for guys, especially at 7'4", because what's he going to do? I mean, what's a defender going to do if he's got the ball chest high and has it,
And I say this too, the reality that we have to understand about every guy that we get from over there, they're probably the best guy from their country. So they haven't seen this type of competition on a daily basis. Usually they have to go to national tournaments to see this type of competition. Well, now he's having to deal with it night in and night out. And you just have a Ballo on your team. I mean, if Ballo wasn't here, it would be different. He'll be averaging probably, 28 minutes a game? But when you have a guy like that in front of you, you have to really show up at practice every day and put that work in. And even with putting that work in, you still probably ain't going to play over the senior.
Yeah, you mentioned GCU, you mentioned Flagstaff, Kelvin. If Krivas is playing on a team at that level as a freshman, what's he averaging, 22 and 12 at least? I mean, that's how efficient he is as a young man already, super confident finishing around the basket especially. So, yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but who's the extra coach that they brought in from Spokane, that big guy? Started with a K, right?
Shimmy.
Yeah, he's also very physical, guys. So I'm sure that a lot of the lessons he's getting, trying to push ball around in the post, not going to be able to do that, but all the lessons they're getting from the entire coaching staff as well. I've already seen a big jump Krivas-wise as far as his aggression and finishing around that rim through contact.
Averaging so far this season 8 points to go along with 5 rebounds, and you mentioned the slapping down and keeping that ball high. That's something that he has been really working on to try to improve.
I think it's still the most important thing for me to get better because I get in these situations every game, and I need to get better.
But these last few games out, the Cal game and then this one, it seemed like you were able to finish a little bit more. Is it just a matter of going up stronger?
Yeah.
Can you talk about your progression so far to this point?
I mean, I think I'm developing the same as a team. We started the season early, so we're just developing together, and I think our goal is not finished yet.
Well, what do you think about just coming off that loss, and how did that hit you on Sunday, watching what happened, and
It was a really tough loss. Coaches in the practices pushed us, and we didn't play home game for a long time, so we needed this game, and we came up and did our job.
And we've talked about Oumar Ballo, who is obviously for his career, I think he's down now to 63%. He was up at 64% field goal percentage. If you're looking at Krivas in just a short sample of his career here so far, shooting 65% from the floor. So, I mean, again, when you got two guys that are shooting 64+%, that's a reason right there to play inside out.
Yeah, no, you got to go to those guys being that efficient. You want to get those easy buckets. I always say the team to get the most layups win. The team to get the easiest buckets win. Those 3-pointers look great, and it looked beautiful, and then until you go back and look and see it's 6 for 20, right? But those easy buckets that you get, that's the foundation that you want in your program.
And you saw it real early in the season where anytime Mo got in the game, the guards were just looking for him every time on the block. And DK, you know who loves a big man who can finish around the rim more than anybody? A guard. Yeah. Because obviously with a concerted effort to try to establish those post touches and 80% from the field, 95% from the field in these last few games, that just opens everything up for shooters outside. So you're going to get such clean looks.
In that stat sheet.
Yeah.
It's called assist. And you know what else that tells me, DK, from being a guy that played up there? It tells me that he had a great summer. Working out with the guys. It tells me that when they were playing the 5-on-5 at the McHale Center, he was scoring and playing well, because if not, the guys wouldn't, because you know what KYP means, know your personnel. So if he wasn't showing that already, the guys wouldn't be looking for him the way that they are.
Yeah, I think it was KJ preseason before the first game ever was played. He said Kriva's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem. Like, they had seen him all through that summer trip. They knew what he was doing around the basket. And, Kelvin, bringing up Ballo is the best point to make, because Krivas coming over here to America isn't a number one, right? And he's not going to be wearing that number one jersey in practice. Right. So he's got to make sure that he goes up against an experienced big like that and proving to guys like KJ coming in, hey, this guy's the real deal, and wait till you see him finish around the rim. And we're seeing it. I mean, there might have been a stretch there. We talked a lot about the Alabama, maybe the game against FAU. The style of play was not conducive to having a 7'4" guy on the court. He didn't have anybody to guard in those situations, right? But these last few games against competent bigs, you're going to see him quite a bit, because moving forward, there's some other teams in the conference that are playing a center-based offense, not like a 5-out system with 5 guards. So yeah, I think Mo's numbers are just going to keep going the way they are. And we've said this also many times, he's often going against the backups, right? You bring Ballo out because they got to have Ballo be their number one scout to make sure he's not dunking 10 times in the game. So when Ballo rests, usually the other bigs, the number one big for the opponent's resting. So Krivas is doing some damage against guys who are not at that level, even though he's just a freshman.
Just picked up the record book, just kind of looking, talking about field goal percentage, and because obviously we've talked all season about what Ballo's doing, right around 64% for his career. But we've also talked about the fact that there's been a lot of missed shots at the rim coming from both Ballo and coming from Krivas. Krivas at 65 on the season. Umar at 61 on the season. Just looking at some of the best seasons in history, that would put both of those guys right there. You got Al Fleming in 1974, shot 67%. From the field. That's still the best all-time single season. And Ballo last year, number 2, 65%. Christian, number 3, at 64%. So, again, you're looking at potentially a third Tommy Lloyd big. Now, Christian, obviously recruited by the Sean Miller era, did his best season, though, under Tommy Lloyd. You're looking at potentially a third Tommy Lloyd big that could have a season in the top 5 all time in program history.
And it don't surprise me, because if you go back and look at what Gonzaga did over there, they built everything around the centers that they had. So it's not surprising that he brings with him 20 years of experience from Gonzaga, and that's the way we got it done. I think we have a faster pace, because we have better athlete with the guards, but I still think he's building it around that system he comes from.
Also, shout out to Jordan Hill and DeAndre Ayton. Those are the other 2 Arizona Wildcats who shot over 60%.
It wasn't Joseph Blair?
Joseph is also tied for. There are 3 guys tied for 9th.
Okay, I know.
Pete Williams, Judd Buechler, Joseph Blair, all shot 61% in one season. You mentioned DeAndre, Anthony Cook, Brian Williams, Jordan Hill, both on that list. Anthony Cook had 2 seasons over 60%.
He played with Sean Elliott and Steve Kerr, right? Yeah. So, I mean, you ever see some footage of Anthony Cook shooting the ball?
No.
He had that really high, kind of almost Robert Parrish type release where he had his hands way up. It was effective, but man, Anthony Cook got so many alley-oop dunks off of the threat of Sean scoring. I'm not trying to, take anything away from Anthony Cook as a player. So I love Anthony Cook as a player, but those field goal percentages, that makes sense, right? Because you're talking about the team that they had. He got a lot of good looks from attention to the other guys.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening around the rest of the college basketball scene on this Saturday.
The Pac-12 scoreboard is brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
All right, we've got a pretty much full slate of games in the conference today. Only one game is underway. Stanford is trying to win a third straight contest. Beat Arizona, win on the road, beat UCLA, but right now with about 8 minutes to go, trailing at Southern California, 66-62. The Trojans on top. The next start in the Pac-12 will be Oregon State at Washington. The Huskies have lost their first three. Oregon State comes in at 1-2. Utah and Arizona will be the 6 o'clock tip in conference play. Number 10 Wildcats looking for the Rocky Mountain sweep. Both these teams today enter here in Tucson at 2-1. Also at 6 o'clock tonight up in Tempe on ESPNU, the Sun Devils look to go 4-0. There are just two teams in the conference right now who remain undefeated, and Arizona State is one of those teams. They will host Colorado coming off the 47-point loss here in Tucson. However, the Buffaloes are a 3.5-point favorite in that game in Tempe today. 8 o'clock starts, two of them. Washington State at home against Oregon. Oregon is 3-0. They'll look for the road sweep in Pullman, and California and UCLA at Poly Pavilion. The Bruins are 1-2, and 0-3 are the California Golden Bears. Let's take a look at what is going on around the top 25. There are some finals on the board. There was a pretty tight ball game today in Kansas as the Jayhawks, number 2 in the country, eked out a win over TCU. 83-81 was the final there. Big ball game for Hunter Dickinson, 30 points and 11 rebounds today for the Jayhawk in that ball game there. Other finals, and we'll give you one because you heard it right here earlier today on our station, and that was a Big East game, and not a game involving ranked teams, but a game nonetheless which saw some historic connotations to it. In the Big East, our first national college basketball game of the year here that we carried, and St. John's went on the road and beat Villanova 81-71. My understanding is that was the first win by the St. John's Red Storm in Philadelphia against Villanova since like the 80s. So to say Rick Pitino's got it going there, maybe?
Paying off.
Yeah, that's looking like a pretty good hire right now. Good win there for St. John's today. That is the first check of your Mesquite Valley Growers scoreboard.
That's been the Pac-12 scoreboard, brought to you by Mesquite Valley Growers. Mesquite Valley Growers. Real growers, real experience, real nursery.
There is one more score of note, which is last night's game between the Indiana Pacers and Atlanta Hawks. And I bring it up because we talk about 20 assists for Arizona.
Yeah.
They had 22 assists off the bench.
The Pacers did?
22 bench assists.
Wow.
Finished with 50. It's only the 11th time in the history of the league that a team got 50 assists.
How many did TJ have there?
TJ had 10.
I knew it.
Wow.
I knew it.
And Hallie had 18 in 25 minutes, Kelvin Yvonne. 18 assists
Halliburton?
and 2 turnovers in 25 minutes.
Wow.
Against Mr. Trae Young.
Oh, that don't surprise me. Trey known for defense. Yeah. Trey known for defense.
All right, man. That's a pretty nice number there.
50 is crazy.
Yeah.
50 is crazy.
Well, I'll go back to the record book. I'd like to find out maybe
So number
what the
one is-
all-time list is for the
I got
Wildcats
it.
in a thing.
Oh, for the Pacers or Wildcats?
No, for the Wildcats in a single game.
Oh,
team.
single game. Yeah, we'll look it up. We'll look it
We'll
up.
have to figure out what that
NBA, it's Milwaukee from 78.
Ooh.
They had 53.
Yeah.
52 3 times, 51 twice, and only 5 times has 50. So 11th time, like I said.
Yeah. We're watching Boston College and Georgia Tech here. Damon Stoudemire's club was up. Now they're down, but Boston College bringing out that old-style Cavalier uniform look with the kind of checkered ring around the sleeve area there. I like that. Similar colors there with the white and gold as well. All right, it is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I am David Kelly. You got J.W. Madden and Kelvin Efon here as well, and you're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
That's today's Spotlight on a Cat has been brought to you by O'Reilly Chevrolet. Get more with O'Reilly Chevrolet. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad those arch supports are in my shoes.
Go to the Good Feet store at 4811 East Grant Road or at goodfeet.com.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Does it feel like the price of everything is going up, up, up? We can't control the price of gas or groceries, but at Royal Kia, we never add market adjustments, even while other dealers add fees because inventory is limited. At Royal Kia, you can rest assured you won't pay market adjustments, and we stand by our transparent online pricing. Royal Kia, the dealership that's different. OAC plus tax, title, license, dealer installed options, and $529 doc fee. Royal Kia, Speedway in Columbus or royalkia.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Johnson tips the rebound out to Larson. There go the Wildcats on the run. Pella in a hurry. Coast to coast inside. Bounce pass. Love. Reverse lay-in is good.
Drive it hard to the basket when the defense converges. Lay it off to Caleb Love.
All right, we were talking about the starting five stat that's in the U of A notes the last show, and so we'll update that Pella Larson needs now just 7 points tonight to reach 1,000 for his college career. That is between his two stops, Utah as well as Arizona. Umar Ballo needs just 17 points tonight to reach 1,000 points for his career, so that could happen for both of those gentlemen tonight. Umar would need a very big ball game for that to happen. What do you? It's interesting. We see that a lot. The celebration. I'll ask you, Calvin, because you coached in high school. We see that a lot. Celebration of players that score 1,000 points. Is that a big deal in high school? I mean, I always when I see the celebration of that, and to me, I always thought, well, if you're a good player. And if you're a good player in high school, you should probably play at least 3 seasons, which means you should probably score 1,000 points in your career. I'm more impressed with the celebration of 2,000 points in a high school career than I am for 1,000 points.
Yeah, I had never seen that until I started coaching high school. Honestly, I had never saw that
because everybody's got to have a trophy.
But I did thought it was cool that guys were getting recognized and people were getting recognized because you start to realize not as many people as you think score 1,000. Right? So, I was a little excited about that. I tell the kids all the time, I had 869 in one season. Right. 869 points. I finished high school with over 2,800 points, right? Yeah. So, maybe more than that. But, it's a matter of longevity on varsity. I think a lot of times 1,000 is a big thing, really, because most people play only two seasons. Their junior and senior year of varsity. But people with 4 years and 3 years, it's kind of, a crazy advantage.
Right.
Also, like the organic nature of high school isn't what it once was, right? Because you got all these factories, Montverde and all these other places, like Prolific, Prep, or whatever. So players might play 1-2 years and be that 25, 30-point scorer on a team from a small town. And they might transfer to a school that's got 15 D1 dudes on that team. And you're not going to be – how many did Bronny James score last year? Like 8? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of schools out there in the country that are – Findlay was that for the longest time. So
whatever happened to Findlay Prep?
Their coach left to go coach at, I think, a community college somewhere, and they kind of fell off after that.
Well, the Findlay Motors, he stopped putting the money up.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah, he got disinterested, because that's what it was. It was that he had funded that program over there because it was crazy because you remember it was at another high school. Mm-hmm. So they went to another high school, a private high school, but had their own basketball team. So, we played there several times out there in Vegas. Just can't think of the name of the high school now, the private school that they were at.
Interesting stuff there. All right. Pella Larson, again, needs just 7 points to become a 1,000-point scorer. Let's hear from Pella on the Wildcats' big win over the Colorado Buffaloes.
I feel like everyone had great energy, and every time we play in McKay, you get so much energy from our fans and our crowds. So, it's really, really hard to not come out as excited as we was.
Did you guys need a game like this? Obviously, after the losses.
Yeah, we definitely wanted a game like this. But, we just want wins at the end of the day. So it just counts as one win, and we're trying to get another one on Saturday.
What was the week like after the last 4 days? Did you feel this coming on, that it was going to be different for you guys tonight?
I think we usually done a good job responding games like this, and but we've been working hard and really taking a step back and redoing some things, and it's looks like it's working. So we just gotta stick to that.
What was the key? Maybe getting that defensive back. You mentioned you tweaked a couple things. I didn't know. Did you feel like it was maybe half technique and half effort, or what was the key to kind of the turnovers you forced and keeping them low shooting?
Just not really tweaking much, just getting back to what we were doing earlier in the season, looking back how we were playing then and then recently. So yeah, just being a little bit more handsy, aggressive, and I mean, most of all, just playing together, like moving like one on defense. And we did a good job on switches today. They got a few backdoor cuts, but nothing too crazy.
Have you and Kylan worked on that pass that he had to you in the first half?
Maybe yes, I haven't. But, I mean, I'm just trying to make sure he doesn't get a turnover. So if he throws it, I'll go get it.
Were you surprised that you ran out in front and suddenly the ball was in front of you?
No. I mean, he does, amazing things like that pretty often. So he's a great guy and great player. So I just run and he'll probably find me.
And can you talk about his game, because he kind of was stumping a little bit. Today he was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, he started great. I mean, can't expect a guy to shoot 60% the whole season. So, I mean, ball goes in sometimes not. And just got to find the balance of feeding our big guys and creating your own shots. He's doing a good job.
So when you say when you went back, did you guys watch any of the old games from earlier this season? Anything in particular jump out at you about a certain time when you thought we got to get back to that or whatever?
It was just kind of that feeling that we all agreed on in our team meetings, that feeling we got to get back to, playing as one on defense.
Any other questions for Mo or Pella?
Well, what did it feel like for you, Pella? I mean, just the difference playing here, and you guys seem to want to have, obviously liked a lot. You talked a lot about liking those challenges you had last month, but just playing away from home for almost a month. I mean, did that even strike you? And how?
I mean, honestly, I didn't really think much about it until so many people started talking about it. And, I mean, it's still basketball wherever you play. So if it's McHale or anywhere else, it's the same game. But, I mean, I cherish playing here. I love playing here in front of our fans. Don't have many games left to do it, so just got to take that opportunity and play as hard as you can.
Yeah, I don't think there were. He mentioned you can't expect Kylan Boswell to shoot 60% for the whole season. I don't think there were any guards on that list that we just mentioned of guys that have shot 60%. But that would be interesting. I don't know that we have. I was just looking at it. I don't know that we have that in here. If what the highest shooting percentage
it depends.
For a guard
probably
would
with
be
Reggie Gary all those dunks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on what your qualification of a guard is, because there was that one year when Hassan played power forward, and I don't know what his field goal percentage was off the top of my head, Kelvin, but it felt like
except for he was trying to show he could shoot threes though.
No, but the year before that, I think it was when he was a junior.
That's true.
When he was a junior, he was all a power forward, mostly inside. Yeah, and I mean, I don't remember off the top of my head, but I remember him scoring a lot more than he missed.
Right.
Well, I can tell you he shot, because he's top 10 in field goals and top 10 in field goals attempted. So we can just do the math real quick here. He made 750 in his career. He took 1,503. So that's 50%.
Oh, Adams?
Yeah, for Hassan Adams.
Yeah.
50%.
I was looking in the records. I didn't realize he was so high up there in points scored. He's above Michael Dickinson.
Yeah.
No way I would have thought that. With the threes that Mike made.
Not career.
What career?
No, I'm sorry. You're right. Yeah. He scored 29 or 28 more points.
Yeah, not much, but still. You would have thought Mike D had probably 1,000 more, right?
Mike D, 1791. Hassan, 1818.
Man, you wouldn't have thought that.
He's 7th on the list all time.
A lot of twos.
Good stuff there.
A lot of dunks.
How many threes did he make in there?
Career?
It was right there.
Let's see.
60.
Made. He's not on the top 10.
No,
Hassan.
No. Oh, no. I know that.
Hassan, no.
Yeah.
It only goes to 10. It only gives me 10.
No, it's like Gardner and Damon, all those guys.
Yeah.
By the way, I did look up the most assists that Arizona's ever had. It was 31.
31.
That took place November 28th, 2021 versus Sacramento State, 105-59. Creasa had 9. They had 30 assists last year versus Nicholls State, and also those are the only 2 games they've ever had 30 or more.
So that would have been Tommy's first season.
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So there you go. 31, and 20 has kind of been the number this year. We'll see where they fall today against the Utah Utes. All right, let's find out who that player that's going to get underneath the Wildcats' skin is going to be today.
Who is today's pest of the game? The pest of the game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Check them out at BePestFree.com.
All right. J-Dub, why don't you go first on this one?
Well, I think for the first time ever, I'm going to go with the big.
Ooh.
Because I saw what Brendan Carlson did to Arizona last year in Utah, and he was the center of what coming off of that Maui trip. So I just think he's that guy. You got to make sure you get out. Don't let him see that ball go through the hoop, Kelvin, because I think he was 5 for 9 in that game up there in Utah. Good quality shooter. As we mentioned, 24 years old, so a ton of experience. He's that guy, I think, on that team that you got to make sure he doesn't get going, because that opens it up for everybody else.
Calvin?
I'm gonna go with a big too, which I usually don't do, but the big coming off the bench, which DK like to do, is I'm gonna go with Kiba Kita.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with Kiba because I feel like that his aggressiveness and physicalness, I've seen through the games that he played, and he's a pretty good athlete. So real physical around the boards.
You stole my thunder. You stole my thunder, Mr.
I didn't see your paper. I didn't see your paper.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go with, let's make sure we got his name right. Keba Keita.
Okay.
Keba Keita is the big man off the bench.
Well, you know what I'll do
from Mali. He's a sophomore.
I'll go with Rolly Worcester.
Okay.
I'll go with Rolly. You take him and I'll go with Rolly because you can't forget about those guys in these games when you have all the 7-footers and you're paying attention to them. You don't want Carlson to go off, and next thing you know, shooters are going off. And to me, that's what have beaten us in a couple of the games, little shooters. So I'll go with Rolly.
Rolly Worcester, a transfer from Utah State. He started all 14 games for the Utah Utes. All right, so I'm going to go with Keba Keita because he's got double figures in steals, double figures in blocks, and I like those guys that can create havoc on defense. That's kind of my thing. All right.
That's today's Pest of the Game. The Pest of the Game is brought to you by University Termite and Pest Control. Visit BePestFree.com.
1 hour remaining in our show. Stay with us. We're going to talk to the voice of the Utah Utes in the next hour. Bill Riley will join us. We'll get his thoughts in our scouting report. It is the Wildcats and the Utah Utes tonight. Tip-off at 6 o'clock at McHale Center. If you're on your way to the game, going to the game, have anything to say, we'd like to hear from you as well. 520-848-1290 is the number today. Call us at that number, text us at that number, download our app, Wildcats Radio 1290 app. In fact, text app to one of that to that number, 520-848-1290, and I will shoot you a link so that you can download the app. And if you go to the app, you can message us by text, you can message us by voice, you can message us by video, you can interact with the program. It is the Countdown to Tip-Off Show brought to you by Meridian Wealth Management, also brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the best place to eat, drink, and play while watching tonight's game between the Wildcats and the Utah Utes. With Kelvin Efine and JW Madden, I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Blue Whale Car Wash, Caruso's Italian Restaurant, Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, The Diamond Store, Goldberg and Osborne, Goodfellas AC, Humane Society of Southern Arizona, Lexus of Tucson, Nova Home Loans, Recon Auto Detail, Ride Now Power Sports Tucson, Tucson Police Department.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is the ultimate team when it comes to your home's comfort.
Thinking about replacing your heating and air system? It's free furnace season at Right Way.
These are some of the slowest months of the year. We have equipment in stock and our crews are available.
And to spark business, we're including an 80% furnace absolutely free with the purchase of an air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have zero interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 today or visit rightwayac.com.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tape
tickets.
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Get a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & Kay, nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & Kay with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. Live rockandkay.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Tohono O'odham Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez of Meridian Wealth Management, and I'd like to invite you to our complimentary retirement income workshop held every Friday at 10 a.m. in our offices at the Williams Center. We discuss the key risks in retirement, how retirement has changed, and how to best plan for success. A recent study showed 60% of retirees would go back and plan differently if they could. We want to help you avoid the would've, could've, should've. Call our office at 719-1433 to reserve your seat today.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We have the Arizona Wildcats covered on game day like no one else. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Comes to the left, drops it off to a cutting Pueyo, who's going to catch and shoot from 10 to score. Helena now has 6, 3 of 4 from the field. Gilbert now accelerates at the three-point line, cuts to the right side, at the rim, she scores it as she's fouled. Drops it off inside where it's tipped away from Cunningham. Momentarily had by Colorado, but it's had by Blakely as now she penetrates, kicks it on the outside. Williams with the 3, that's up and good. Cats have their largest lead, 56-52. Blakely, baseline right with 14 seconds to shoot, gets this one to Gilbert. She's going to pull up from 15 out. This time it rattles in. Cats on a 12-0 run going back to the 3-minute mark in the third quarter. Now leads 60-52, 9.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, that was a 12-0 run last night between the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter for the Arizona Wildcats women's basketball team that gave them an 8-point lead over number 5 Colorado. I was at McHale Center. It was they called it dark mode. We've heard red out, white out. This was dark mode where you were supposed to wear something dark. It was kind of funny because they wanted people to kind of wear black, but black is one of Colorado's colors. So Dia Barnes in our press conference earlier this week said, I don't know who thought that up.
It wasn't me.
So, but yeah, dark mode, and they had, what do they call those kind of flashing lights that you get at the raves? We were talking about raves the other day on the show, but they had the flashing lights, so it looked really cool. But McHale was hot last night for the game. Wildcats, though, unfortunately could not hold on to that 8-point lead over the final 9 minutes of that game. Aaronette Vonleh, who played her freshman season here at the University of Arizona, had 8 points in the second half as Colorado rallied for a 75-74 win over the ladies. Afterward, though, Adia Barnes playing once again with a short roster due to injury, happy with what she saw.
Definitely took the game from us because we had 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. They put that zone on, and it really had us a little bit stagnant. So credit to them on the good win, and I'm proud of our players for the way they fought. We had 7 players, a tall order, not one post player, sub on the bench. So I thought that people were in different positions, but they did everything I asked, and they tried their best. Now I'm just talking to them about just small things, like the backdoor cuts in the fourth quarter really hurt us. The lack of boxing out and the offensive rebounds really hurt us, but you correct those things. That I told Brea, it does not come down to that shot. She had a good look because we said the slip would be open if Kaylin wasn't open, whether against the man or zone. And she got a look, and 9 times out of 10 she can make that. She didn't today, but she's going to get many more of those. But it's never that wins or loses a game. It's the backdoor cut in the fourth quarter. You take away one of those, you win the game. So I think those little things and letting her understand that she was close. She felt bad for missing it. And I said, hey, you're gonna have a lot of shots like that in your career, a lot more.
When a team goes zone on you, do you think the players have it too much in their minds that they have to get threes to get them out of it?
Typically, no, and typically we don't. I think what made it harder was we didn't always have 2 posts. So I think when you're when you're running like a movement, like their zone is really high. So in the past, we had a lot of success by going low, bringing the zone down. Well, going low to a post player, then you have a guard cutting. So it's not as effective as some of the action. I thought that we held the ball a lot. So a lot of times they were trapping on the wing, and we were holding the ball. So 2 passes out of a trap, you're going to get an open shot. So we never got to that ball reversal. And I think we just Kaylin held the ball a little bit. As Mary wasn't popping out, we weren't ever getting to our movement. So the ball was super stagnant and really high, like this far above the 3-point line. So you can't do that. And I think they did a good job. I mean, Colorado, credit to them. Their defense, it was aggressive. It was zone. They're big and it was high. So they took us out of a rhythm. But I think us seeing film and learning where the spaces are and the gaps are, we have to. And we just have to do a better job.
Scrappy play on defense tonight. I think you forced 19 turnovers. Just what's your assessment of the defense?
How many did we have? I felt like we had like 20. But I think we're not good defensively right now. We're just not. We did some good things. We fought. We played hard. But we aren't a good defensive team now. We don't have the personnel to play the way I want to play. But they're trying and they're getting better and they're getting there. So we're going to get better. We're a lot better than we were before. But the areas that we're not good at, we have to improve on those areas. And I think I thought last year was different because some of the players didn't want to play defense. They wanted to just score. They were like, defense, I don't want to play defense. I don't play defense. But this year they want to. But it's just the experience to learn. I mean, think about it. A lot of times tonight we had 3 freshmen. Sometimes we had 3 freshmen and a sophomore, Kaylin, who didn't play a lot last year. So that's 4 players that are on the floor that don't have that experience at this level, the game experience. So it shows at certain times in the games. It shows when you are up, there, like Colorado has a little bit of a lead, and then you don't get that rotation or you don't get that box out. Like those are the youth things that it comes with experience. You understand those possessions really matter. So.
You suited 7 players tonight.
I didn't have a choice. I couldn't suit anymore. I had no.
That's all you had. What, if anything, did you learn about the team tonight? And what maybe did they prove about their place in the conference? I'm
proud of them. They prove they have heart. They have, they're cohesive. They're together. They have each other's backs. That they're resilient and they want to do what I ask and they want to do their best. And that's all I can ask for. So I'm not mad about this game. I'm upset. Like I'm disappointed that we didn't win, but like it's not something I'd hang my head over. They're a good team. They're a little better than we are right now. They're a little deeper. They have a little bit more experience. So that's where we're at. But if I can get us to continue to play like this, we're going to win a lot more Pac-12 games. And we can beat a lot of people. And I think we wouldn't have lost the games we lost in the non-conference if we played like this. So I'm proud of what we did. Now it's just being able to shift and, okay, we can't give up 17 offensive rebounds. To lose by 1, giving up 17 offensive rebounds is pretty remarkable. Like, yeah, I mean, you should lose by, in our conference, you could lose by 30 with doing that. So we have to improve these things. We have to box out better. We have to not have the unnecessary turnovers, not give up those transition buckets that caused us rotation. Then we're vulnerable for rebounds. So it's all correlated, and we just have to get better fast. But we did so many good things. It really makes me optimistic about the future. You know, because this weekend was going to tell me a lot about where we're at. We're playing 2 really good teams, like 2 teams that can go really deep in the tournament and that could win our conference. So, like, they didn't come in here and blow us out. We fought, we played possession, we lost by 1 point, and we had a chance to win the game at the end. So that's all I can ask for. But we can do things better where we're not in that situation. We could have maintained that lead. But like we could not do silly fouls at the end, not give up the offensive or the and one, you know, stuff like that. So it's just a learning experience.
Yeah, let's see. Dia Barnes, the head coach of the women's basketball team. You can stay in a game, obviously, when you give up 17 offensive rebounds, but you force 19 turnovers. But it has to be tough, Kelvin, to play a game with no big substitutions off the bench. All you've got off the bench is 2 guards.
And it has to suck even more when you think about it. She's playing against a girl that was one of her girls,
yeah.
Right? And that has extra motivation, you know, to try to, play well against you. But, yeah, no, that's tough. I mean, it's almost impossible at this level to play with one big. For them to be in a situation where they could actually win that game, you got to give Coach Adia credit for coaching those ladies up and the girls for executing the game plan.
I mean, you hate to look into what could have been, but man, if you had Brea Cunningham and Aronette Vonleh playing on the same
Maddie Connor, you see what Maddie doing at TCU?
With that outside shot, I mean, I definitely take those two players back for sure. On this team, but you don't want to look too far into the future about what could have been because it's not. But, I mean, this is obviously going to be a situation where they're going to be, again, tomorrow without Isis Bay, who's in concussion protocol. You heard in our interview earlier with Joan Bonvincini, who called the game tomorrow with Cindy Brunson on the Pac-12 network. It sounded like, and we'll have to ask Adia about this tomorrow after the game, it sounded like the injury to Saleh Karoma might be season-ending. She might not, because Joan indicated that potentially she might not play again this season. That's a huge loss if Saleh Karoma is out for the year. You can get by some of these knick-knack injuries and things for a few games, but to lose another player for the year after having lost Montea Dew for the year, it has forced a lot of things, as you heard with Adia Barnes and the way that they've had to play the game. And one of the, I guess, Swiss Army knives on this team is Helena Puello, who has literally at times this season had to play 4 different positions at the defensive end of the floor. And Helena talking about last night the team having to deal with finding out that they were not going to have Isis Bay.
I mean, I don't think it's a big thing for us. I mean, of course, we need size. I mean, she's a really great player. We need her inside. But, I mean, we're just going to do it with 6, 7 players. We don't care. I mean, we have been doing it the whole season. So I thought we fought a lot during the whole game.
How important is conditioning in these games? I mean, how important is that to staying in today's game specifically?
Really important. I mean, with 7 players, you gotta do like shorter practices, of course. We gotta do more recovery. And I mean, we have been doing it for like a lot of games. We don't have a lot of bench either, so we kind of know, and we just gotta be smart.
Helena, I see here that you were on the court the whole time. You played almost all 40 minutes, same as Kaylin. That's a step up for you. But you guys are just ready?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready if I have to play 2, if I have to play 3, if I have to play 40. So I'm always gonna be ready for that. And if I have to play the 4, also the 5, I don't care. So I just want to be there for my team and just be the best.
Helena Puello, in her 5th season here at the University of Arizona, played 40 minutes last night and scored 9 points.
You know, I was thinking, Rita Stubbs. volleyball.
Yeah.
You know, we need a couple of those girls to come out there and possibly help, man.
They drafted the track girl, Erin Tack, but she came out, got hurt in the first week. So that's just another thing. That's another injury, and now we don't know how soon she'll be back. But yeah, I mean.
I'm not trying to take any of the girls away from Rita, trust me, but I'm just thinking, I'm thinking back in my day, I was like, what would we do? Oh, volleyball. It's a couple 6'4" girls over there.
Maybe Jordan Wilson, maybe.
No, they hooped. You know they hooped growing up at some point.
I don't remember. I'm trying to remember if I can recall any of those girls playing volleyball and basketball in high school. It's just, you don't, and I don't. I mean, other than Lauren Ware, who came in here as a potential two-sport basketball, volleyball, I don't know a lot of the girls that on the volleyball team that also played a ton of basketball in high school that I can remember, even like going back.
You know, when I think about it, with the way that club volleyball is,
right.
The only way to get recruited is basically through club volleyball.
Exactly. So you go right out of season volleyball in the club.
Right, and so they bump heads with AAU basketball in the summer. A lot like what's going on with the football and basketball players, where they have 7-on-7 and AAU basketball. You basically have to make a choice now. You know which one you want to be involved in.
All right, let's find out if we can win some money on this game today.
Tucson, what are some of today's best bets? Will the Cats beat the spread? It's time to look at some of today's best bets. Brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
All right, we're going to let J-Dub go first today since he likes to wait out to see what we're going to do before he makes
I don't wait. You go to be last.
Yeah, no, you got to go first.
No, I think whoever's ahead goes first.
You said you wanted to, you're
I'm all about it.
18-8.
I'm all about
it. All right, we'll start with the line at 13.5 for Arizona.
13.5. Arizona definitely wins comfortably. I will say they win by 12 points, so just under that.
Okay, Kelvin Efon, 13.5, Arizona.
I say they win this by 15.
15.
So, a little bit more. I think they still got something to prove. I think that game the other night, they only got 20 minutes in that game. I think they have a lot of energy, and I expect watch this. What I would say, regardless if they get up or not, I expect Coach to play them a little bit more. Because you have to keep that game shape, right, J-Dub?
Yeah.
So if you get used to playing 20 minutes, right, you're going to be in 20-minute game shape. So I see the guys playing more closer to their actual game minutes, being that it's the second game and you don't have to rest getting ready for the next game.
All right, I'm going to go U of A, and I'm going to lay the points as well. I think it'll be I don't think it's going to be 40 points, but I think it could be a 20-point win tonight for the Arizona Wildcats. I'll go along with that number. So everybody's taking the Wildcats and laying the 13.5. Now the over/under.
No, I said 12.
Well, okay.
Under.
So I'm
taking Utah.
You're taking Utah.
Arizona wins by 12, and the spread is 12.5. So just under the line.
Utah and okay.
Yeah. Expecting Utah to play better because of what happened at ASU.
Right.
I know
J-Dub. So J-Dub is taking Utah.
I just got respect for that team.
I do too.
Yeah.
I just think that the Wildcats losing that Stanford game.
Yeah, no.
They still got some stuff to prove.
And they do play much better at home.
Yeah. Well,
what's that line? I mean, over/under?
Over/under is 166.
Over.
All right. It went under last game. Kelvin.
Over.
All right. Last. What was the? No, I'm sorry. It went over last night. I said it went under, but it did go over last week. I'm going to stick with over because that has been the play all season long. So everybody takes the over. Kelvin and I are on the same side with U of A minus the 13.5. J-Dub is going to say U of A wins, but not by 13.5. So he is essentially taking Utah plus the 13.5. We'll see who wins after the game.
Those are today's best bets. They are brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet. Let's take a look at the Right Way Rundown and see what's coming up on our pregame show. Brought to you by Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Do things the right way.
All right, still to come, we will chat with the voice of the Utah Utes, Bill Riley, get his thoughts in our scouting report, keys to the game, starting lineups, all that straight ahead. We've got you for another 42 minutes. leading you up to a 6 o'clock tip-off at McHale Center, Arizona, number 10 in the country, and the Utah Utes. It's the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show. I've got Kelvin Efon and J.W. Madden. I am David Kelly. You are listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
This hour of the Meridian Wealth Management pregame show is brought to you by Broadway in Tucson, Dave & Buster's Tucson, Dorado Rock, First Choice Pools, The Good Feet Store, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, O'Reilly Chevrolet, Ram Plumbing, Restaurant Supply Store, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Rocking KA Master Plan Community Design by Nature, University Termite and Pest Control.
Southern Arizona Radiology Associates have been dedicated to providing superior images and quality care for the last 35 years. They're the one you trust when you need an X-ray, CT scan, ultrasound, mammogram, or MRI. They have locations in Tucson, Green Valley, and Sierra Vista. Ask your doctor to refer you to Southern Arizona Radiology Associates today. That's Southern Arizona Radiology Associates. Visit their website at sararadiology.com or call 520-335-6849 for more information.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to bepestfree.com.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Hi, this is Natalie Fernandez-Lee, President of Meridian Wealth Management. As a fiduciary investment firm, our clients have trusted us to guide them down their financial paths for decades. Whether you are an individual or family, business, foundation, or nonprofit, we are committed to your long-term goals and financial futures. We are proud supporters of the Tucson community and all that makes our city so special. Visit online at meridianwealthllc.com to learn more about Meridian.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer looking for quality car parts in Tucson, look no further. Advance Auto Parts has 6 Tucson locations with over 75 years in business. Advance Auto Parts is the largest car parts retailer in the U.S., and customers know they can trust their products, like Die-Hard batteries. Now with free installation, only found at Advance Auto Parts stores. Take advantage of our same-day delivery and pickup. Just visit our website at stores.advanceautoparts.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Advance Auto Parts for all your car repair needs. Now a proud radio sponsor of the University of Arizona Wildcats.
Think of waking up with energy, standing tall and feeling free. Think First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
For over 30 years, Tucson has been putting its trust in First Chiropractic for auto and on-the-job injuries. They're locally owned and a proud sponsor of the U of A radio broadcasts. So if you've been injured, make the right choice first.
First Chiropractic, good health is to enjoy.
Experiencing the natural wonders comes easy at Rock & K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills. Enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. Explore natural open space, a network of connecting trails, and a community park within the Vale School District. Visit Lennar's 2 communities in Rock & K with home savings up to $35,000 and limited time interest rate and closing cost incentives on select move-in ready homes. LiveRockandK.com. Designed by Nature, proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290. Our 1290 Scouting Report is brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double.
Let's take a closer look at today's opponent, the Utah Utes. Pleased to be joined by the radio play-by-play man for Utah basketball, Bill Riley, ESPN 700 in Salt Lake City, where he is a talk show host as well. Bill, tough night in Tempe on Thursday. You guys, that was pretty. We were actually watching it here in the studio here in Tucson. Tight ball game about midway through that second half. What, though, did the Sun Devils do to kind of close out the Utes in that contest?
Well, they made shots. I mean, they made 11 threes. They're a 29% three-point shooting team, and they shot 43% last night. They also, Utah was pretty loose with the basketball, too. They take very good care of it and kind of led to some easy baskets for ASU. So Utah didn't do a very good job of matching kind of ASU's intensity and energy last night. So it was a little uncharacteristic for where they'd been because they hadn't lost since mid-November. They had won 8 in a row and played really well, but not last night. Devils got them.
You know, this is going to be a fun game on Saturday. I mean, we've had some matchups with bigs here in recent weeks. I mean, obviously Umar Ballo on this side going up against the likes of Zach Edey from Purdue and bigs from Florida Atlantic, and then last week in Stanford as well. Let's break down your two big guys that play a lot for you. We've heard a lot about Brandon Carlson, maybe not as much on this end about Lawson Lovering, but how do these two guys? How do they make this team go for Utah?
Well, I mean, Carlson's been a two-time All Pac-12 performer, so Arizona's seen him a few times. He's not playing center though anymore. He's playing out at the 4, and he'll be a stretch, and he's playing really well out there. So I'm not sure Ballo is going to see a lot of him because I'm not sure they want Ballo 20 feet from the basket. But Lawson Lovering's been a guy who transferred in from Colorado. He's done a nice job. But there's a third big guy that you're going to probably have to deal with a little bit tomorrow too, and that's Keba Keita, sophomore kid. Has really elevated his game. He's not 7 foot. He's about 6'9", but he plays above the rim. So Utah's got the ability to play really 3 bigs that are all, in essence, 7-foot types. But you'll see Keita and Lovering playing a little bit more inside, and Carlson playing a little bit more as that stretch 4.
You know, you mentioned obviously with what happened last night and Arizona State kind of making 11 threes. Have you seen that maybe teams that can throw a lot of guards out there give you guys problems because you're playing, multiple bigs?
No, Utah's got really good guards too. They've got Wooster, they've got Davon Smith, a transfer that just got the approval with everybody else from Georgia Tech, Gabe Madsen, Hunter Erickson. Utah's got good guard play. Yeah, ASU just made a bunch of circus shots last night. Credit them, they got them to go. But Utah's actually done a pretty good job this year against some three-point shooting teams. BYU was maybe the best three-point shooting team in the country, and Utah did a really good job locking them down. That's the only loss BYU suffered this year. They're 12th in the country right now. So Utah's been pretty good against teams that can shoot it from outside. But last night was just one of those nights for ASU. Utah's got, this is a lot the same team that they've had the last couple of years, but there's more depth and more overall talent on this team. Last year, they just really had a real thin margin for error, and when Madsen got hurt early in the Pac-12 season, then Wooster got hurt too. It really hurt them. This year, they've added pretty good depth across the board. They go pretty much 8-9 deep.
You mentioned circus shots. It sounds like the game that the Wildcats had at Stanford last Sunday when the Cardinal couldn't seem to miss anything that they threw up. This is obviously Craig Smith's, I believe, second season, if I'm not mistaken, in Salt Lake City. What have kind of been the principles of how he has wanted to build this program in the post-Krzysztofiak era?
Third year for him. He was at Utah State, took Utah State to the tournament in 2 of those 3 years. The other year was a COVID year. He took them and rebuilt them on the fly, did a heck of a job. He's kind of done that everywhere he's been. South Dakota as well. As you know, it's a little tougher to do it at the Power 5 level if you don't have those super deep NIL pockets. And so what he's done is he's found guys that want to play his style of play. He likes to run. He likes to get out and do it. But what they really like to have is guys that buy into the program. Tough, physical, smart kids who can run, who can shoot. He likes to play bigs. It's a little different in today's day and age. Arizona does a little bit too. Tommy Lloyd will too. But he just likes to have smart, hard-nosed kids who want to buy in and play his brand of basketball. And his third year now, I mean, they've made some improvement. Year 1 to year 2, they went from 11 wins to 17 wins. We're in year 3 now, and I think they're going to be 17 wins to probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, 21, 22 wins this year. And unless things really get sideways, I would expect Utah to be back in the tournament this year.
We're joined by Utah Utes broadcaster Bill Riley from ESPN 700 in Salt Lake City for today's scouting report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. Bill, obviously, you guys are in a very similar situation to where we are in terms of the future of college athletics and heading to the Big 12. How's that played in Salt Lake City with this fan base? A lot of excitement about what's to come. And obviously, your guys' tenure in the Pac-12 was a little bit shorter, so not multiple generations of fans who were connected to that conference. But how's the move playing in Salt Lake City right now?
Well, I think, initially people were a little disappointed just because, you're right, it's only been a 13-year run, but it's been a pretty good 13-year run, especially in football and a couple of the other Olympic sports too. I mean, Utah won back-to-back Pac-12 championships, went to back-to-back Rose Bowls. That's pretty good for them. They've been the winningest program in the conference for the last 5 or 6 years. So I think they liked it. I think it was a good fit, but sometimes then you have to deal with reality. You have to put that aside. And I think they're pretty happy that they got a landing spot in the Big 12. They'll be able to keep some of the rivalries up with Arizona State, Colorado, and, redo that rivalry with BYU on the conference level again. But, I think people have kind of resigned themselves to the fact that, it stinks, but that's the reality of where you go. So now you enjoy one more run in Pac-12 basketball, and then, like Arizona fans, they'll turn their attention to the Big 12 coming up this summer.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting how that all plays out. I guess between you and Colorado, has that grown into a strong rivalry? I mean, you two were obviously the final 2 teams that came into the Pac-12.
There's no rivalry there whatsoever.
it's all Utah and BYU. Well, that was my next question, because now you're going to be in the same conference with BYU, and that hasn't always necessarily been a friendly type of situation. But what's going to be the anticipation for that now that Utah and BYU are going to be in the same conference?
Well, I mean, they were in the same conference for 80 years. It's only been for the last 13 that they weren't in the same conference. So they're gonna be back on that same standing again. And you're right, there's no love lost between the two schools. It's gonna probably be probably the best, most fierce and nasty rivalry in the Big 12. Although I know the Territorial Cup, I know Arizona and Arizona State fans get a little crazy and nasty from time to time. This one's got it's got families that get divided. It's got a religious component to it. It's got a little bit of everything. And now the nation's going to get to see it on a big stage. So I'm happy about it. I didn't grow up in Utah, but I've been around the rivalry since I moved to the state 22 years ago. And I think the heart of what makes college athletics great is rivalries. And I think having Utah and BYU back on that same plane again and playing, not just for a one-off game for bragging rights, but you get conference ramifications too. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. I said from the get-go, when the Pac-12 started to fracture, that I thought that the move to the Big 12 would be best for Arizona, based on the fact that I believe there's potentially going to be more good rivalries for our sports teams within this conference. And again, I think Arizona BYU is also going to be a tremendous rivalry between those two programs. Obviously, a very large Mormon population here within the state of Arizona. I might contend that maybe the most outside of the state of Utah, I would think, at least from what I've seen. And so I think that's gonna jazz up. But there's still a lot of memory when Jimmer Fredette came in here about 12 years ago and laid 39 at McHale Center. I think there's going to be some great opportunity for Arizona to have a rivalry with BYU, as well as a number of other teams, obviously on the basketball side, because of the strength of the conference there. So it's going to be fun to see how that plays out as we get into the turn of the calendar year here in the summer and get into 23 or 24-25. Utah Utes broadcaster Bill Riley is our guest today for our scouting report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. Bill, real quick before we let you go, just want to get your thoughts on what you saw. You guys came in here during the football season and had a chance to see this rebuilt football program in Arizona. What were your takeaways from that Saturday night game that the Wildcats won over the Utes?
Oh, well, not so much about the game itself, but just the job Jed Fish has done. I mean, I like him a lot. I met him at Pac-12 Media Day a couple of years ago. I like the vibe about him. He didn't seem like a phony used car salesman. He felt like he was a guy that was bought into that program and really hell-bent on turning it around, and in 3 years he's done it. So I couldn't be more impressed with the job he's done, and I think both Utah and Arizona are well-suited to jump into the Big 12 next year and have a chance to be conference contenders in year number one. Arizona's always had pretty good offenses under Rich Rod and some others, but he got that defense turned around. He's got a cornerstone quarterback in Noah Fafita. He's got weapons all over the place, and it kind of looks like fans might actually care about football again. You can probably tell me more than I know, but they had a pretty good crowd that day, and It looks like people have bought in. It's not just a basketball school right now.
And let me ask you this question, because one of the things Jed Fish said when he first came here was he looked at Utah kind of as a model for how he wanted to build his program. One of the things I say was I hope he looks to the longevity that Kyle Whittington has had at Utah and makes that maybe a point of emphasis for himself here. What has been the thing that has kept Kyle Whittingham in Utah for such a long period of time?
Well, I mean, he knows the state. He grew up in the state. He played in the state. But he knows the schools. He's recruited the schools. He knows how to recruit to the state of Utah, and it's his program. That's the other thing. There's not a great history of coaches that have coached a long time. He inherited from Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Now, Urban had 2 great years, and they were phenomenal years. But it wasn't like Urban was there for 15 years and he had to follow him. It's his program. Kyle's built it. He's built it on his principles and his foundation. And it's kind of his. Nobody else is there kind of looking over his shoulder, and he's gotten everything he's ever wanted or needed for that program. So I think it's been easy for him to stay. He's had some other offers, different places to go, but I think he's built it and he's comfortable being there. And I think if they support Jed Fish the same way at Arizona, he might be a guy that stays a long time in Tucson.
Yeah, it's definitely Kyle Whittingham, definitely an alumni hire that worked out. For sure. Those don't always do, but they definitely did in this instance for the Utah Utes. Hey, Bill, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us. Have a great call here between the Wildcats and the Utes.
Appreciate you having me on. Thanks. Have a good day.
That's today's 1290 Scouting Report, brought to you by Ram Plumbing. When your plumbing is in trouble, call Ram on the double. This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The new Blue Whale Car Wash, formerly Octopus Car Wash, is now open. They're locally owned and operated and offer many ways for you to save. Start now by downloading the Blue Whale Car Wash app. Then visit their website at bluewhalecarwashaz.com to find a location near you. Don't forget to follow them on Instagram and Facebook for even more savings. And for a limited time, their exterior-only wash is $5 at all 4 locations. Blue Whale Car Wash, proud radio sponsor of the University of Arizona Wildcats.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
As Arizona's leading personal injury law firm for more than 30 years, Goldberg & Osborne agrees, bear down, Arizona. With offices statewide, including 5 in Tucson and southern Arizona, the Eagle gives you home field advantage. More than 1,800 5-star Google reviews prove Goldberg & Osborne has the playbook for any situation. So after any accident, let the attorneys voted best personal injury law firm tackle that insurance company and get you the settlement you deserve. Goldberg & Osborne, 1-800-THE-EAGLE.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, we have smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video streaming, and battery backup that lets you in when the power is out.
Kaiser Garage Doors and Gates is your authorized local LiftMaster dealer. Visit KaiserDoor.com for more information.
True Wildcat fans know that when you're looking for the best place to watch all the big games on big screens, drinking cold beer and having the best food, all paths lead to Desert Diamond. Bet on your Wildcats and all your favorite teams 24/7 on our easy-to-use kiosks. Come chill on our comfy couches and build your best bet at Arizona's best bet, the Desert Diamond Sportsbook and Bar.
An enterprise of the Thana Autumn Nation.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Desert Diamond Casino is licensed in Arizona.
My heat and air were in a state of disrepair.
Here's wishing you a safe and happy new year. I'm Ron Arenas, the owner of Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. Don't let heating and plumbing problems spoil 2024. When you need us, make a resolution to call 520-440-4069 for honest service to the Tucson area for over 22 years. We are proud to serve you.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Savings in Selection 100 is going on right now at O'Reilly Chevrolet because we have selection, we have savings, and we have over 100 trucks, including Chevy Silverados, the #1 selling full-size pickup in Arizona. See them all at O'Reilly.com. Call 747-8000 or test drive one today on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Find new roads during Savings in Selection 100 at O'Reilly Chevrolet. More than a great price.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
See dealer for details.
The Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show continues on the home of Arizona men's basketball, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Dribble drive right. Bradley into the lane, stops there, kick it back to Love. Caleb squares up. Deep three is up and good. Caleb Love with Alexis of Tucson. Charity three.
Caleb Love will lead his Arizona Wildcats into the contest tonight against the Utah Utes. Caleb Love shooting 53%, talking about shooting percentages, 53% from inside the arc so far this season for the Arizona Wildcats. It is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show. This is our final segment of the show. Last chance for you to get in on the program, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Guys, got a text I want to read here real quick. This is from Fred. He's a lawyer. Says, I've called in the past about the Sean Miller investigation. My 94-year-old mom is in Tucson, and my dad and we're all Wildcat fans. His dad passed away in 2005. Fred currently lives in New Jersey. Says he listens to all 8 hours of the 1290 coverage every game, starting 4 hours before the game and sometimes until 2:30 in the morning. That's how we roll here sometimes. He said, until recently, my mom never missed a game, even has the Pac-12 channel. She was in the hospital for an infection, but fell and broke her hip and had a stroke and is now home in hospice. She will not be with us much longer. He said he emailed Coach Lloyd and asked if they could give a special effort this month to win for my mom, play like this is your last game, like it might be for her. He said at 1 p.m. on Thursday, the director of basketball operations from the men's basketball team sent a reply and said thank you, and that she would pass on the email to the team. And 6 hours later, they played Colorado and won by 47 points. He said, can you mention my mom, Jean Smith, before games? He's in Tucson with her until Monday. They're listening to the show now, and she plans to watch the game at 6 o'clock. Jean, we appreciate you for being a Arizona Wildcat fan. Bear down, Jean, for sure. And enjoy the game tonight. Thank you, Fred, for that message. All right, let's get into our keys to the game and the Wildcats winning another one for Jean tonight.
Wildcats fans, our keys to the game are brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
All right, when you come off a win of 47 points, you're feeling pretty good about yourself, but a new opponent, a new night, a couple of 7-footers, a 7-footer who can do a lot of things in Brandon Carlson, the reigning Pac-12 Player of the Week. I'll start with you, Kelvin Ifan. What must the Wildcats do to win this one tonight?
Well, you just said it. They have 2 7-footers. They bring Kiba off the bench as well, big fella. So I think you got to rebound. Whenever you're playing a big team like that, you know they're going to crash the offensive boards. You know they're going to try to dominate the defensive boards. So you want to win that battle right there. I also believe that when you're playing the 2 7-footers, you want to push the ball as much as possible. Utah want to get back and try to make sure you don't get easy buckets, but I think that we have an athletic and a speed advantage, so I would really love to see us push that ball and get some easy points in transition. And lastly, keep the pressure on the guards. Don't allow them to get open looks and shots because you're looking at the 7-footers. You're looking at Carlson. You're trying to help too much on him. Make sure you keep those guards in check.
Good stuff there. How about you, J-Dub?
Yeah, I mean, these are the 2 best rebounding teams in the conference, right? The only 2 teams that average 40-plus. So completely agree with Kelvin. You got to make sure that you're solid on both sides of the court on the rebounds. Also, you know, they do shoot a lot of threes because of Carlson and those guys opening things up. We saw that inverted offense up there in Salt Lake was really super effective. So whoever gets that assignment, obviously Keyshawn we expect, definitely got to get out and make sure that he doesn't get any clean open looks, especially early. Also, Utah draws a lot of fouls. So I just think playing solid defense like we saw the other night versus Colorado and just keeping your hands out of that cookie jar. And lastly, real quick, I just think I want to see Mo Krivas expand upon the last few games that he's had. This is a game where you're going to see a lot of 7-footers for the Utes. Probably the game he's going to have the opportunity to get in and match up against guys. We always talk about who's he going to guard. Well, plenty of guys on the other side of the ball. So I'd love to see Krivas come out and just keep reproducing that dominant performance. And obviously, Ballo as well. Ballo. 1 for 8 was he last game. Just finish strong, go up and dunk. Like Kelvin always says, 2 hands, tear that rim down.
Could it be they draw a lot of fouls because they don't shoot free throws very well? Just 69% on the season. So tough defense. I'll put that as one of my keys to the game. Play some tough defense. Don't give away easy baskets tonight for the Arizona Wildcats. Put this team on the line. Make them shoot those free throws if necessary, and make them in order to beat you in this ball game. And I agree with the guard situation. I think the guy you got to be most mindful of is Gabe Madsen and keeping an eye on him. The Sun Devils were able to do a nice job putting the clamps on Gabe Madsen, and if you can hold him down, Brandon Carlson is probably going to get his points. But if you can hold down, again, it's very similar to, I think, what we saw against Purdue, not letting one of those guards get going on you. Lock down Gabe Madsen. That would be my call today. If you can keep him under, say, 14 points, I think it's going to be a good night for the Arizona Wildcats. And defensive communication, I think, is going to be very key in this ball game. This is an offense in Utah. They like to try to get you on the switching and confuse you and create favorable matchups for them with some of their bigs. And so it's going to be very important for the Wildcats to communicate effectively to be able to win this game tonight against the Utah Utes. That's what we think needs to happen for Arizona to beat Utah.
Wildcats fans, that's our keys to the game. Brought to you by the Royal Automotive Group. Royal Automotive, the dealership that is different.
And let's hear from the head coach, Tommy Lloyd, one more time before we get out of here. I mentioned that one of my keys to the game prior to the game against Colorado was I wanted energy from the crowd, and the Wildcats got off to such a quick start that they didn't necessarily need the crowd to produce any over-the-top energy because they did that for themselves in that ball game. But Tommy Lloyd admitted that after a gauntlet of a schedule, including the last 5 games prior to Thursday night being away from home, that it was nice to be back at McHale Center.
I mean, I ran our team through a gauntlet. And I knew we were going to, I would have been shocked if we would have got through it unscathed. Obviously that's what we wanted to do, but it didn't happen. And then, and then luck or unluck of the draw, your first 2 conference games are on the road. And, the next thing you know, you haven't played home in a month. And, I think maybe we got a little bit worn down physically, emotionally, and it's hard to trend up all the time. So, Stanford got our attention and our guys responded, but it don't mean a lot if we don't respond again on Saturday.
Got to respond. Tonight's another night for this Arizona Wildcats ball club. But again, this is a place in McHale Center that they've been very, very comfortable all season long, and I don't really see that changing tonight.
Yeah, all season long. I mean, ever since McHale been there, really, it's just like that, baby.
Yeah, maybe Ben Lindsay's year they weren't great, but other than that, yeah,
like that for a minute now. So, yeah,
yeah. It's it's a team that obviously when you get back into that home environment, and we've seen what they can do early in some of these ball games and blowing through the competition at home. It's still, again, I'll repeat it, something that I definitely want to see from this team when they get back out on the road, because again, you're not going to win a national championship playing games at McHale Center. You're going to have to, like Tommy kind of said there, you've got to be comfortable when the game is tight as well, and it's going to be tight once you get back out on the road again.
Totally agree there. That's why I was hearing you talk. I was like, oh, no, yeah, you want some of those tight games for sure. I mean, it's beautiful for the fans to take it easy and be able to get the guys in off the bench. I was a bench guy, so I love getting my minutes and everything like that. Trust me. But at the end of the day, to win a championship, it's going to come down to those 7, 8 guys on this team. So you want to get them as much minutes as possible. That's what I said before. Love the blowouts, but you end up losing minutes of your starters getting valuable minutes in real action. So, it's one of those things that, like, yeah, again, great to have for the fans and great for the bench people, but the bench players. But at the same time, you need as many tough games as possible to prepare you for the championship.
Yeah, and especially when you bring new guys in, right? Because we talk all the time about these guys still getting to, the seniors. You brought 2 seniors transfers in. They're obviously incredible basketball players, should I say. But it takes time to figure that out. And those crunch time minutes, the last 2 minutes of a game, Kelvin, coming down to the wire when it's a 1-2 possession game, we haven't seen that much this year, right? You think about the double overtime FAU game. Obviously, that game at Duke came down to the last few possessions. They blew out Wisconsin. I mean, they beat Alabama by 13. There were some moments there early, but again, lose by 18 to Stanford. So some of their losses, Purdue won by 8, right? I mean, it was tight the whole game, but they kind of pulled away there at the end. So I agree. I mean, anytime you can get in good games with a new group, you got to figure out how you're going to run those last crucial possessions.
How you going to close? Who's your closer? Who you're going to? Because we kind of saw it on that last play, right? When Boswell had the ball, then you kind of went to Love, and Love, got his shot up. That's what you need to find out. Who is your go-to guy? Who can you trust at the end of games to take the shot? And are the guys gonna trust that guy as well? So, and you only can know that from being in those positions. So far, it was Boswell. It went in Boswell's hands first, and then it went from Boswell to Love. So,
but in terms of taking the shot, is there anybody else but Caleb Love at this point that you trust in that situation?
On ball, like the one-on-one, yeah. But as far as running as something, Yeah.
And usually in those, and just like Coach said, usually in those situations, it is hard to run a play because all the teams got you scouted pretty good. So you would basically be having to draw up something that you haven't used or you only used at practice before. And a lot of coaches don't like to do that because the players are looking at them like, wait a minute, there's no confidence in that, right? So a lot of times you got to have a creative guy. And you look at the teams that have won the championships over the years or the teams that get to Final Fours, they got guys that can make a play.
Kemba.
Yeah, they got guys who can make a play. So right there, Love, I think Love is your guy off dribble. Because remember when he went off dribble and got that foul?
Yeah.
And he can hit the three and he can go mid-range. And then I think after that, you probably go to Boswell. But if you take those two guys away, where you go?
Well, I like the part like at the Duke game, right? So remember the end of the Duke game? Caleb Love hit a shot. Then he penetrated. Defense collapsed on. Two guys came up on him. That's when he hit key shot, who hit the and one, right? So, I mean, there are other ways. The way I look at it is you got to have some, it's even late shot clock stuff. But when that gets put on film, you talk about scout, if you don't have close games, then you don't have any film for that. And there's no, like, counter play to that, right? So let's say, hypothetically, you run a high pick and roll with Caleb Love a couple times late game. The defense over-adjusts, Kelvin, to stop that. That's when you're going to find open shooter. That's when you're going to find Pella maybe in the corner. There's a lot of ways to get an open look. I don't like just unless it's Damon Stoudemire out there with the ball in his hands, I don't necessarily like we have one guy because then the defense can try to take that away from you.
Yeah.
Ooh. I only reason why you're right, but I'll say this. I like the one guy because, yes, you could try to take him away from me, but I could set up stuff off of him.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, if Caleb's the guy and everybody knows it, everybody knows Steph's getting the ball at the end of a game, right? That you're going to double him 75 feet away from the basket. Anything to do to get that ball out of his hands. You're going to double him before he even touches the ball. So Caleb Love, obviously, everybody knows in the scout, he's their best one-on-one player. He's going to get those late shot clock shots. And the more that he makes, the more the defense comes over and has to try to take him out of the play. And then other guys, there's 4 other guys in that court capable of making a shot. So, yeah, I mean, I think they got options, but obviously Caleb is their best option with the ball in his hands, late shot clock, end of game.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept because you don't really get it's much different than football. You don't. I often think of like you have the 2-minute drill in football, which you can kind of create 2-minute drills sometimes within games. It's hard to do that. It's hard to create late game situations in a basketball game unless you're looking at just the end of each half where you could maybe even try to run a play and say, okay, at the end of the first half, we got 5 seconds left. Let's try to run a play that we might want to run if we get into that situation at the end of the game as well. Here are your starting lineups for tonight's game.
The foundation of a great college basketball team begins with the starting lineup. Today's starting lineup is brought to you by Rockin' K, a master plan community designed by nature.
All right, at one guard, you got Kylan Boswell. Kylan Boswell, 6'2", sophomore out of Champaign, Illinois, averaging 11 points, 4 assists. Caleb Love, 6'4", senior out of St. Louis, 17 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per ball game. Pelle Larsson at a guard, 6'6", out of Sweden, 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Your forward is Keyshawn Johnson, 6'7", out of Oakland, 12 points and 6 rebounds. The man in the middle, Umar Ballo, is 7 foot out of Mali, 13 points and 8 rebounds. That's going to wrap up our show. We've got the post game afterward. Enjoy it. Arizona versus Utah next on Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is the Meridian Wealth Management Countdown to Tip-Off Show on the home of Arizona men's basketball. Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Window Depot is proud to sponsor the first look at today's game and would like to invite Arizona Wildcat fans to visit one of their Tucson warehouses. The Window Depot provides over 1,000 in-stock vinyl windows, interior and exterior doors, plus granite and quartz countertops, and a huge selection of custom cabinetry, all at the lowest prices in town. Consider the Window Depot your MVP when it comes to your home improvement needs. Stores are open Monday through Saturday, or order online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Experiencing the Sonoran Desert's natural wonders comes easy at Rockin' K. Nestled at the base of the Rincon Mountain foothills, enjoy stunning mountain views up close every day. 6 model homes are now open to tour at Del Webb at Rockin' K. Here, life is about more than just beautiful homes. It's about the experiences waiting outside your front door at this new 55-plus active adult neighborhood. LiveRockinK.com. Designed by nature, built for you. Proud U of A radio broadcast sponsor.
Frog and Firkin, a standout among the bars and restaurants in the University area. Frog and Firkin does what very few pubs can, combine a festive atmosphere and great beer with a menu that could stand on its own in any restaurant setting. A sports enthusiast dream with over 30 TVs, 30 beers on tap, and over 100 import and domestic bottles. Daily drink and food specials, and the kitchen is serving until 10. A standout in the University area. Frog and Firkin. Eat local, support local. frogandfirkin.com.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.